Chapter 1202. Since one wants to compete for resources, naturally one must possess sufficient strength. Although Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoge currently have combat capabilities comparable to a false core immortal, they can be considered as such. However, when it comes to such matters, not only is the top-tier combat power important, but also the overall strength of the family. At least in the eyes of those false core stage families, By Lake Mountain is still not qualified to be listed alongside them. Even deep down they look down on By Lake Mountain with a degree of contempt and disdain. They think that a mere family that has risen only in the past few decades, without any foundation or heritage, is delusionally trying to compete with them. They plan to use this opportunity to give By Lake Mountain a harsh lesson, to let them continue to stay honestly and subserviently at By Lake Mountain. By Lake Mountain. Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Hoo. The spiritual energy of nature surges wildly, forming a vortex of spiritual energy. Lu Changxing and Xia Zizhu watch from not far away as Lu Xingqian, seated in the lotus position, is in the midst of foundation establishment. This son has a third-grade spiritual root, and he possesses decent talent in alchemy, preparing to follow the path of an alchemist. But at the current stage he is mainly focusing on cultivation, having just advanced to a first-grade high-quality alchemist. However, in terms of cultivation technique, he has already switched to practicing the Cauldron Medical King's scripture. After foundation establishment, he will be able to devote more time and energy to alchemy. After a long while. A flawless Tao foundation, not bad. Lu Changxing, looking at his son's condition, nods slightly. Although this son has a third-grade spiritual root, his talent and comprehension are only average, not much better than his son Lu Qingquan's foundation. A flawless Tao foundation is already the limit. Unless there is a great opportunity, there is no hope for a perfect foundation base. Father, mother. Lu Xingqian opens his eyes and calls out. With Lu Qingsong, Lu Lingxiao and Lu Caizhen having established their foundations earlier, Lu Xingqian is not too excited at the moment, but simply filled with joy. After all, from a young age, they have been raised listening to the stories of foundation establishment ancestors and foundation establishment great cultivators. The greatest wish of the mother in the household is to hope that they will one day become foundation establishment great cultivators. Now breaking through to foundation establishment, there is bound to be a sense of joy. Xingqian, congratulations on your foundation establishment. Lu Changxing says with a smile. Now that his son has broken through to foundation establishment, as long as he spends more time and effort on alchemy, he will be able to advance to the second-order alchemist. Xingqian, congratulations on your breakthrough to foundation establishment. Xia Zizhu, extremely excited at this moment, her eyes brimming with tears, cries with overwhelming joy. At one time, foundation establishment seemed unreachable to her. But now, not only she but her younger brother Xia Zhaoyang has also broken through to foundation establishment. And her son Lu Xingqian has also achieved foundation establishment. Once her daughter Lu Xingyue returns from her sect mission, she also has a chance to hit foundation establishment. Her son Lu Xingyang, with a 5th-grade spiritual root, as long as he cultivates diligently, also holds the potential for foundation establishment in the future. With 2 other children each with a 4th and 5th-grade spiritual root, there is hope for foundation establishment in the future as long as they cultivate diligently. At this moment she feels her life is complete. Zizhu, Xingqian could achieve today's breakthrough thanks to your years of caring and teaching. You have worked hard. Lu Changxing holds Xia Zizhu's hand and says softly. Husband, it's not hard work. Being able to meet you is the luckiest thing in Zizhu's life. Xia Zizhu says softly with teary eyes, her heart filled with deep affection and gratitude for Lu Changxing. She knows that without Lu Changxing, it would be difficult for her and her younger brother to have such a life today. Xingqian, you work on consolidating your realm, Lu Changxing tells his son, then goes to properly comfort Xia Zizhu. Xia Zizhu, with a spirit-nurturing physique, now that he has achieved core formation, it's possible that her 6th child might bring a few surprises. Several days later. After consoling Xia Zizhu, Lu Changxing goes to find Bai Ling at Baishui Lake. Planning to spend some quality time with the girl Bai Ling next, and also to use the yin-yang integration spirit pill. Daddy. Binger, who was left in Bai Ling's care by Lu Changxing, immediately yells with delight upon seeing him. Big brother. Bai Ling, in a snow-white dress, with a delicate and pure face and flawless fair skin, shines with a holy beauty under the sunlight. However, her eyes, clear black and white like peach blossoms, radiate a dreamy and alluring charm that makes one's heart throb and involuntarily intoxicated. Both girls, each in a snow-white dress, possess world-class stunning beauty, and standing together, They resemble a pair of sisters, making even the heavens and earth appear somewhat dim in comparison. CTH Oval Fire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. But upon seeing Lu Changxing, Binger immediately lets go of Bai Ling and affectionately clings to him. Her pale and gorgeous face reveals a shallow, adorable dimple. Daddy. Binger calls out, her tender, innocent eyes sparkling like black gems, gleaming with a radiant, beautiful luster. Despite it being only a few days apart, she seems to have been separated from Lu Changxing for many years, her eyes full of longing. Binger. Lu Changxing fondly ruffles the girl's hair, then turns to Bai Ling and calls out tenderly, "Little Linger." Bai Ling immediately comes obediently and endearingly into Lu Changxing's embrace. A moment later, Lu Changxing watches Bai Ling feeding the aquatic spiritual beasts at home. Over the years, Lu Changxing no longer relies on breeding spiritual beasts for income. Because to earn money in this area, one must personally cultivate the feed for the spiritual beasts and refine pills to accelerate their growth. This process, if done through purchasing, tends to have high costs. And breeding spiritual beasts takes too long. Even for simple growth, it requires years or even decades. It can only be said that if a family business wants to make money, it must grow on a large scale. Otherwise, there is hardly any competitive strength. Binger, are you tired? At this moment, Lu Changxing asks Binger. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1203, Daddy. Binger is not sleepy. Binger immediately looked aggrieved, her pale pink lips pouting. Her clear, tender eyes seemed veiled in a layer of mist, as if tears were about to fall. All right, not sleepy, not sleepy. Lu Changxing, who always had a softer spot for gentleness than sternness, couldn't help but feel tender-hearted at the pitiful sight of Binger. Subsequently, he tried to hand Binger over to Lu Miaoyun, Chu Xinzhen. But at that moment, Binger simply did not want to leave him. Faced with this situation, Lu Changxing was somewhat at a loss. It felt as if, by picking up Binger, it was like a couple having a child, needing to be cautious. Or should I just resolve to be utterly heartless? Lu Changxing gazed at Binger's delicate features, evil thoughts momentarily arising in his heart. Sarch * The Novel Fire. Net * website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Although he wasn't sure about Binger's condition, he knew that the Binger before him was very extraordinary, exceedingly so. If it were possible for her to bear a child, the offspring would definitely be extraordinary. However, Binger's situation was special, her body was like a ean corpse, and it was uncertain whether she could have children. Daddy. Binger, seeing Lu Changxing looking at her, immediately called out affectionately, her voice tender and innocent. Seeing this, Lu Changxing's indecent thoughts dissipated. He decided to nurture her for a while longer until she understood more. Otherwise, seeing her gaze now made him unable to proceed. After a long time, Lu Changxing felt that this was not a solution either. He spoke out loud, Binger, Daddy is going to sleep now, do you want to join? Since Binger wanted to stay close, let her stay, it didn't interfere anyway. Binger will join Daddy. Binger blinked her eyes, which shone like black gems, showing no aversion at all. That night, the room was completely silent. Binger, lulled to sleep by Lu Changxing, lay on the bed like a delicate porcelain doll. Her black, beautiful hair spread out on the pillow, her body covered with a thin blanket, and her pale, exquisitely beautiful figure indescribably graceful. Especially the two beautiful legs revealed from the lower half, straight and slender with beautiful curves, and her toes clear and translucent. The only imperfection might be that her skin was too pale, even somewhat ghastly pale. Lu Changxing quietly watched the sleeping girl before him, recalling how he unearthed her from the earth veins, feeling a surreal, unreal sensation. Perhaps sensing Lu Changxing's gaze, Binger's long eyelashes quivered slightly, slowly opening her eyes. Seeing Lu Changxing watching her, she immediately smiled joyfully, unconsciously murmured, Daddy, and then closed her eyes as if having a beautiful dream. Bai Ling, standing beside, watched Binger with maternal grace flowing in her eyes. She envied that all the wives and concubines in the family had given birth to children. Since she had been unable to conceive, she often helped with the children on normal days to compensate for her regret. This caused her, despite her immature personality, to exude a certain maternal glow. Little Linger, it's alright, just take this elixir medicine and then you will be able to conceive. Lu Changxing, after watching Binger for a while, set up a barrier around her, looked towards Bai Ling standing beside him, softly saying as he took out the Yin-Yang Integration Spirit Pill. This bottle of Yin-Yang Integration Spirit Pill was divided into Yin Elixir and Yang Elixir. Aside from aiding in conception, it also had some benefits for both the male and female participants. Because a child's talent is not only related to the parent's talents but also to the parent's physical conditions. These two pills would allow both individuals to reach their current peak condition. However, the effect of the Yin Elixir is far superior to that of the Yang Elixir. Because in matters of conceiving and bearing children, the mother has a greater influence on the child's talent. Thus, the Yin Elixir, while enhancing the child's spiritual root talent, also indirectly nourishes the mother's body. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1204, I'm pregnant with a baby? Brother, can I really become pregnant? Bai Ling, hearing this, looked at the porcelain bottle in Lu Changsheng's hands, her eyes filled with surprise and hope. So many years had passed, and she also knew that her inability to conceive was related to her bloodline and talents. To solve it was extremely challenging. Ordinary elixir medicines and cultivation techniques were useless. Of course. Lu Changxing watched Bai Ling's beautiful eyes swirl with joy and expectation, pinched her fair and smooth cheek, and poured out the Yin-Yang Integration Spirit Pill from the porcelain bottle. Xianxia the Novel Fire. Any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Both pills were the size of a thumb. One was golden and the other was purple. The pill patterns on them seemed to contain thousands of mysterious and sparkling lines. The rich fragrance of the pills diffused, making the entire cave mansion seem like a misty steaming realm. Even Lu Changxing couldn't help but marvel at the extraordinariness of these fifth-rank pills. He handed the purple Yin Elixir to Bai Ling and spoke, "Just take it and then, thank you brother." Bai Ling could see the extraordinariness of these two pills and was very moved as she took the pill. Lu Changxing also took the Yang Elixir in his hand. As soon as the pills entered their mouths, they melted away, transforming into warm streams of rosy light rushing towards their limbs and bones. In an instant, Lu Changxing's pores opened up and his body shone brightly, his entire being filled with immense medicinal power, his energy boundless as if he had inexhaustible strength. At the same time, a hot sensation slowly emerged from his lower abdomen. After taking the pill, Bai Ling's effects were even more exaggerated than Lu Changxing's. Her energy surged around her, and wave after wave of purple-gold light flowed from her skin, with radiant light overfilling, as if she was on the verge of transforming and ascending. "Brother!" Bai Ling's exquisite and pure face flushed with a peach blossom's blush, her clear and distinct beautiful eyes looked affectionately at Lu Changxing, full of charm that was intoxicating. Both pills had an aphrodisiac effect. Let alone two cultivators at the foundation establishment and core formation stages. Even a nascent soul true lord would be affected by it. Lu Changxing did not suppress the heat and embraced Bai Ling's delicate and graceful body into his arms. Accompanied by the rustling sound, the snow-white dress was removed. Bai Ling had a wonderful figure. Graceful and delicate, with a well-proportioned body. A pair of long and straight beautiful legs that seemed supernaturally perfect. The tender and delicate feet were like ice lotuses, each toe crystal clear as if carved from jade. The white scales on her fair skin gave off a white gold luster and were not alarming at all. Merged perfectly with Bai Ling's body, her pure and seductive figure gained an additional wild charm and exotic allure, invoking a primal desire to conquer in those who saw her. Brother, under Lu Changxing's years of patient teaching, Bai Ling was no longer the clueless girl, knowing how to please him. With her arms around his neck, she actively leaned in to kiss Lu Changxing. Her lips were extremely soft, silky and tender, and they carried an intoxicating coolness. Moments later, accompanied by a soul-stirring delicate moan, an impeccable jade body undulates and sways. Adorned with scales glowing in white and gold, the jade body radiates a faint pinkish pearlescent light, dreamlike and illusionary, strikingly beautiful, filling the entire cave mansion with the air of spring. Inside the cave mansion, the ambience is ripe with the spirit of spring. Bai Ling was initially worried that Binger might wake up, showing signs of bashfulness. But realizing that a barrier separated them, she gradually lost herself under Lu Changxing's punishing lashes. The fair skin covered in scales not only took on a subtle rosy blush but also constantly shimmered with a purple-golden radiance. This was the effect of the yin-yang integration spirit pill. The power of the pill continuously nourished and moisturized the two as they made merry. Even after making love for several days, Lu Changsheng's body remained in peak condition, feeling better than ever before. "Daddy, I've slept enough." Just at this moment, as Lu Changsheng was on the verge of eruption, a naive and pleasant voice sounded. Binger opened her eyes, and her clear, flawless large eyes looked on in surprise at the entwined pair. Binger, you shouldn't look." Bai Ling, almost forgetting herself at the sound of Binger, trembled violently, her beautiful face instantly flushing red as blood. Though she's not inexperienced, yet she remains shy in character, only ever letting go with those she knows well, like Lu Miaoge, Ling Zixiao, Lu Miaoyun, Chu Jinjin, and so on. Now in front of Binger she felt somewhat uneasy. Especially after spending time with Binger these past days, she had come to view her as one could a child. Thinking that she and her brother were exposed like this in front of Binger, Bai Ling felt so ashamed her body shook uncontrollably, tears welling up. Lu Changxing was also somewhat dumbfounded. He had previously used a barrier to isolate Binger but didn't expect her to wake up so soon. It can only be said that when desire takes over, one easily loses track of time. "Ah!" Finally Binger cried out loudly. But this voice was not one of surprise or fear, but rather of feeling wronged. Throwing herself at Lu Changxing, she said with a hint of grievance, "Daddy actually took advantage of Binger sleeping to secretly play games with Sister Linger. Binger wants to play too." Hiss. Lu Changxing, embraced by Binger, recoiled sharply, his body withdrawing backward, disengaging from Bai Ling. Binger, seeing this scene, instinctively grabbed Lu Changxing's formidable weapon as it slipped out from Bai Ling's body, pressing her little face to it, curious about how to play this game. Hiss. Lu Changxing sharply inhaled a breath of cold air once again. Binger, true to her name. Her body temperature always cool and chilly. At this moment, her cold slippery little hand holds Lu Changxing's formidable weapon, her face filled with curiosity as she examines it, not only blowing frigid breath towards the weapon but her delicate, tender face and pink lips also inadvertently making contact. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1205, Daddy? Binger, still naive and ignorant, looked at Lu Changxing, her voice tenderly calling out, asking how to play the game. But her appearance at this very moment undoubtedly brought an unprecedented visual stimulation to Lu Changxing, igniting his desires. Under the effect of the yin-yang integration spirit pill, already feeling an intense heat throughout his body and on the verge of bursting, Lu Changxing couldn't wait to find a place to vent, as he instinctively thrust his waist forward, his life force pouring out. "Woo woo woo," Binger instinctively whimpered, her naive large eyes looking at Lu Changxing, her little fangs even lightly grazed Lu Changxing. If it weren't for the 100 refinements treasure body art, Lu Changxing felt he would have been scraped by those fangs. With the sound of gulping, Binger's body suddenly shrouded in a dazzling brilliance. A surge of astonishingly strong sinister evil qi burst forth from her body, seemingly lowering the temperature of the cave mansion. Lu Changxing looked at Binger in front of him, his expression bewildered, not understanding what was happening. But under the chilling breath, he instinctively withdrew the roaring flood dragon, causing Binger's cheeks and hair to be sullied. The originally naive Binger, only around 17 or 18 years old under the brilliance, rapidly grew into a 26 or 27-year-old woman with pale skin, cold as frost. She bore an 80 to 90% resemblance to Binger. As if a matured Binger. Her features were cold and stunningly beautiful, her body curvaceous, and her white skirt barely able to hide her proudly enchanting curves. At this moment, Binger had a face of cold, noble pride, looking like a goddess from above the 9 heavens, her gaze towards Lu Changxing no longer naive and affectionate as before. But rather, embarrassed, angry, filled with sinister qi, she glared at Lu Changxing with murderous intent. However, her flawless, exquisitely beautiful face, even stained, brought a profane beauty to her whole being, making the anger, murderous intent, and sinister qi in her eyes non-threatening, and even strangely beautiful. "You seek death." Binger had her chest heaving, her alluring and proud figure trembling as if shivering. Heart-stoppingly beautiful eyes, dignified and indifferent, filled with murderous authority as she looked at Lu Changxing, seemingly wanting to tear him to shreds. Suddenly, a tumultuous surge of sinister evil qi rushed towards Lu Changxing, making the entire cave mansion seem covered in frost. "Brother?" Bai Ling also sensed something was amiss, her eyes hazy as she looked towards Lu Changxing and Binger, wanting to understand what was happening. Mount Sumeru. Lu Changxing did not understand what was going on with Binger in front of him. But he realized immediately that something was off about the Binger in front of him, as if she had changed into another persona. Moreover, aside from a body comparable to third-order body refining, the person was permeated with a surge of astonishingly strong sinister evil chi, so he took no chances and directly suppressed her with Mount Sumeru. Bang! The majestic power of the cave heaven fell on Binger, causing her body to heavily sink. But her eyes flowed with cold intent, her killing aura fearsome. Her body continued to erupt with a torrential and terrifying aura. See Tich Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. But the next moment, an even more astonishing force of heaven and earth pressed down. At the same time, Qi Ocean Core within Lu Changxing Golden Core releasing a magnificent radiance, the yin-yang domain opened. Only to see yin-yang energies flowing, filling the heavens and earth, forming a yin-yang Taoist chart behind him, enveloping the heavens and earth, suppressing Binger in front of him. Finally, under the combined forces of Mount Sumeru and Lu Changxing's yin-yang domain, the Binger in front of him was suppressed. Who are you? Lu Changxing looked at the Binger in front of him, his eyes slightly narrowed. He asked aloud. Human, how dare you treat this palace like this? One day, this palace will surely see you torn to pieces. Binger said with a cold expression and fierce murderous intent. Even though her pale lips showed no life, her whole being suppressed, her demeanor still revealed a condescending nobility that ashamed others. If murderous intent could kill, Lu Changxing might have already been chopped into thousands of pieces by her now. Torn to pieces? I advise you to behave now. Lu Changxing slightly crouched down, reaching out to hold her delicate chin, speaking coldly. He had long known Binger was not ordinary. But he did not expect such a change could still occur with Binger. Is this Binger's appearance before amnesia, or is it a secondary persona? But wasn't Binger a yin corpse? Is it possible that Binger was not refined into a yin corpse by someone else, but transformed herself into a yin corpse? Lu Changxing introspected secretly. No matter the case, judging from the way he found Binger, she is not simple at all. Human, do you really think you have this palace under control? Binger spoke coldly, full of murderous intent, her body continuously releasing sinister evil chi, seemingly struggling against the cave heaven's power, Lu Changxing's yin-yang domain. If you really had means, you would have acted by now. Why waste words with me? Lu Changxing held Binger's chin, utterly unafraid. If it were the outside world, he might indeed be somewhat afraid. But this place was Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. He did not believe she could cause any trouble. However, her sinister evil chi still alarmed him somewhat. It must be known that the spirit vein of Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven is currently advancing towards 3rd rank, and Mount Sumeru's strength has also improved significantly. Nascent soul cultivators have no chance to retaliate within the Cave Heaven. Yet her sinister evil chi seemed to struggle against the power of Mount Sumeru's Cave Heaven. This is astonishing. You are the first who dares to speak to this palace like this. After a moment, Binger, as if recognizing reality, gave up struggling, her lips lightly parted, speaking coldly, her voice devoid of any emotion, not having the slightest warmth, cold to the bone. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1206. But still, she stood there like a cold phoenix perched high in the 9th heaven, emanating an aura of noble sanctity that discouraged any direct gaze. Ha, you are the first woman who dares to speak to me in such a manner. Lu Changxing looked at her proud and noble face and with a light chuckle he said. You're right, I indeed lack the strength to kill you now. But if you dare to insult me again when I awaken next time, I would risk my life just to take yours. Binger spoke in a distinguished and lofty tone, her voice punctuated with chilling murderous intent. As her words ended, a dazzling white light surged around her, and she reverted back to her appearance of a 16 or 17-year-old girl. Daddy, eat up, Binger wants more. With a look of naive confusion in her eyes, Binger gazed at Lu Changxing, as if she had no idea what had just happened, licking her lips and looking longingly at Lu Changxing. In the midst of speaking, she nuzzled forward to feed. Hiss, Binger! Lu Changxing's eyes widened as the desire he had just dispersed surged back with a vengeance. Xianxia the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Daddy, I want more. Binger's delicate and stunning face oozed satisfaction and pleasure as she spoke. At that moment, Lu Changxing simply had no clue what to say. He only felt that the pure and innocent girl before him had been tainted by his own actions. However, the atmosphere that had been disrupted earlier was reignited by Binger's current actions. Brother, just now Binger she. At this moment, Bai Ling looked at Binger before her and asked Lu Changxing. She had distinctly felt an incredibly terrifying aura emanating from Binger. I don't know either, Lu Changxing shook his head. He suspected Binger's condition was related not only to the stimulation between the two of them but also to his essence. After all, he had ingested the yin-yang integration spirit pill, and the medicinal power was suffused throughout his body, each drop of essence brimming with vigorous life force, akin to an elixir. It might have been due to a combination of factors that triggered the awakening of a second personality within her, or perhaps an instinctual memory. Regarding this, he would have to wait until Hong Lian awakened to further assess the situation. But the way she referred to humans made Lu Changxing even suspect whether she might not be of the human race, but some other species? Daddy, I want to play the game too. Binger, with her innocent and childish eyes, looked at Lu Changxing and continued to call out. Lu Changxing gazed at Binger in front of him, feeling as if his moral baseline had collapsed. After all, at this point, it seemed rather pretentious to maintain restraint. Even though it felt beastly to lay hands on Binger, if he didn't take action, wouldn't he be even worse than a beast? Okay, let's play a game together with Sister Linger. Lu Changxing's mouth curved into a smile as he spoke warmly. Insult me? Risk life to take mine? Do you really think Mr. Lu is easily frightened? Moments later, Bai Ling and Binger were hugging each other face to face, closely embraced. At the same time, above the vast and boundless ocean, a colossal island spanned across the heavens and the earth. Beneath the island, the endless azure waves were turbulent, with crystalline dragons spiraling upward, as if lifting the immortal island, spectacular and beautiful. Atop the island stood a majestic and magnificent immortal city, its grandeur overwhelming. In the center of the immortal city rose a towering column reaching for the Yun Shao, standing tall as if connected to the sky dome, with a splendid and beautiful palace built atop it, diffusing endless divine light amidst the clouds, presenting an inexplicable sense of breathless oppression from afar. At this very moment, within the resplendent palace on the celestial pillar, sat a figure shrouded in a misty, dreamlike aura. She seemed to sense something, and her beautiful eyes, capable of stirring any soul, gazed off into the distance towards a far-off direction. Lung Ningbing, you really aren't dead. The woman's features were delicate, breathtakingly beautiful, with skin like the purest polished jade, seemingly enveloped in a layer of holy radiance, untouched by even a speck of dust, giving those who see her a sense of committing sacrilege. But if Lu Changxing were to see this woman, he would surely be astounded. For her appearance and resemblance eerily mirrored Binger's, after her transformation, with a striking similarity of 90%. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1207, by Lake Mountain, Mount Sumur Cave Heaven. Inside Changxing Hall, spring is abundant. Lu Changxing, switching between Bai Ling and Binger, moving up and down, composes an exquisite symphony that resembles heavenly music. Even though Binger possesses a physique of third-order body refining, it could be her first experience with intimacy, or the awakening of a second personality expended too much energy. Therefore, she could not withstand the ordeal, and after several tosses, she softly called, "Daddy," twice and then closed her eyes, falling into a lazy sleep. As for this, Lu Changxing didn't pay it much heed and continued to strive with Bai Ling in their endeavor to conceive. Originally, Bai Ling's condition would hardly endure Lu Changxing's relentless encouragement day and night. But with the help of the yin-yang integration spirit pill, she is extremely energetic, consistently maintaining her peak state. Furthermore, as the two engaged in dual cultivation, the medicinal effects continuously dispersed, nourishing both bodies. Time passed bit by bit in such manner. They labored tirelessly, unsure how many peaks they've climbed together. Tich Novel Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Accompanied by a moan that sounded like a plaintive sob, Bai Ling's flawlessly graceful jade body turned limp like mud, glowing lustrously and enveloped in a halo of light. At this moment, Lu Changxing noticed something off about Bai Ling. Her body seemed to burn with flames, scorchingly hot. Linger? Lu Changxing immediately embraced Bai Ling's soft and fragrant body, full of concern. Could it be that she overexerted herself for too long, resulting in excessive fatigue? But Bai Ling's physique is extraordinary, and with the assistance of the medicinal power of the yin-yang integration spirit pill, she shouldn't be like this. Upon examination, he saw that Bai Ling was bursting with energy, her body flowing with a luminescent glow, without any signs of abnormality. "Brother, I'm so sleepy." Linger doesn't know why, suddenly so sleepy, wanting to sleep. Bai Ling's face blushed like peach blossoms, her beautiful eyes hazy, speaking sluggishly and without strength. As soon as she finished speaking, she fell into a deep sleep. At the moment of her slumber, streams of white gold and purple gold brilliance burst forth from within her body, gradually forming a white golden cocoon about 3 meters long that completely wrapped her body inside. Above the cocoon, the strands of light flowed to and fro, waxing and waning as if breathing, attracting countless nature's spiritual energy towards the cocoon. Lu Changxing stared at the scene before him, dumbfounded and puzzled. What's going on? A few days ago Binger inexplicably transformed into a woman who called herself Her Majesty. Now Bai Ling has morphed into a cocoon. Lu Changxing was very confused. However, he immediately realized that Bai Ling's situation was related to the yin-yang integration spirit pill. Could it be that pregnancy with the yin-yang integration spirit pill also involves turning into a cocoon to nurture the fetus? It shouldn't be the case. Lu Changxing's eyes shone with a golden luster, looking at the white golden cocoon in front of him. He could vaguely see through the cocoon that Bai Ling was deep in sleep, her body shimmering with white golden scales and exuding a mysterious aura, a white diamond-shaped scale mark on her forehead flickering on and off. This situation, why does it seem a bit like a bloodline awakening? Lu Changxing's eyes narrowed slightly, contemplating about the concept of bloodline awakening. Originally, Hong Lian had mentioned that Bai Ling might possess a diluted true spirit bloodline. However, due to ancestral bloodline regression, mutation, and various unknown reasons, part of the bloodline power was activated. As she continued her cultivation, her bloodline could gradually awaken and become more potent. At this point, Bai Ling's condition made Lu Changxing think of bloodline awakening. How can having a child lead to so many accidents? Lu Changxing was somewhat speechless and didn't know what to say. However, according to the yin-yang integration spirit pill manual, consummating for 3 days will surely result in pregnancy. These days he had no idea how long he had been intimate with Bai Ling. Even though Binger got involved in the process, he figured it shouldn't make a difference. Huff. Lu Changxing exhaled a breath of turbid energy, feeling completely spirited and full of vitality. The main effect of the yin-yang integration spirit pill may indeed be pregnancy. But after all, as a 5th-rank elixir medicine, it not only kept him energized, but now that the pill's effects were dissipating, his cultivation level was on the verge of breaking through to the golden core 2nd layer. He directed a cleansing technique towards the chaotic cave mansion. Then, looking at the sleeping Binger, he lifted her slender waist and smooth jade-like buttocks into his embrace and carried her to the side hall, aiming to place her in the crystal coffin for rest. Bang! Lu Changxing opened the crystal coffin lid, and immediately a chill air wafted out. Daddy, as soon as Binger lay down, her eyelashes trembled lightly, and her innocent and youthful eyes opened, calling out to Lu Changxing with a crystal-clear voice. Binger, if you're sleepy, rest well. Lu Changxing looked at Binger, gently caressed her pale and delicate cheek and spoke softly. Daddy, when we play games next time, could you be a bit gentler? Binger's cute face rubbed gently against Lu Changxing's palm, her voice slightly aggrieved. Upon hearing this, a strong sense of guilt surged in Lu Changxing's heart. He felt that he had been bewitched at the time, having done such things to Binger. Yet this little girl was still thinking about the next time? All right, Lu Changxing's mouth twitched as he spoke softly. Daddy's the best. Binger's smile was pure, beautiful, and crystal clear. Then she obediently fell asleep. Bang! The coffin lid closed. What's all this even about? Lu Changxing slapped his forehead and shook his head. Immediately afterwards he stepped out of Changxing Hall to ask Hong Lian if she knew what had recently happened to Binger and Bai Ling, this palace, with dark and evil qi. Hearing Lu Changxing's words, Hong Lian pondered for a moment before saying, Young master, there are 2 possibilities for Binger's condition. One is that someone wished to give her a new lease of life, therefore turning her into a yin corpse. The other is that she found herself in some peril, and in a life-and-death situation she resurrected herself by turning into a yin corpse. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1208. However, in this process the soul was originally in a dormant state, and now Binger's situation is that of a new consciousness born from the body, Honglian spoke out. Although cultivators have limited lifespans. In the cultivation world there are still many techniques and methods to extend one's life, even reincarnating afresh. Among these, the most common are methods such as ghost cultivators, corpse cultivators, or body snatching. However, these methods are forbidden by the natural order and come with great costs. Lu Changxing nodded, tending more towards the second possibility. Because if it were someone else's doing, why choose a place like the Myriad Beast Mountain Range? Moreover, in the underground palace, aside from the Great Formation, there were no other protective measures. But if it was due to encountering danger while still alive, being in a critical state makes much more sense. Regardless, Binger's situation is very unusual. She must have been at least a nascent soul true lord before. Also, I wonder if Binger might become pregnant? At this moment, Lu Changxing suddenly thought of a problem. During his union with Bai Ling and Binger, he shared intimately. Thus, he did not rule out the possibility of Binger getting pregnant. However, according to common sense, a corpse's body wouldn't become pregnant. But Binger's case couldn't be measured with common sense. Many demi-demons, or those who possess special bloodline power, might inadvertently consume some heavenly and earthly treasures, or cultivate some cultivation technique, and thus may unexpectedly activate the power of their bloodline. Bai Ling might be just such a case. Young master just needs to wait for some time to find out. Hong Lian's voice was gentle and pleasant as she continued speaking. Good. Lu Changxing nodded, then he inquired about Hong Lian's situation with concern. He learned that she was at the final stage of forming her body. It would take at most 2 to 3 years for her to be born from the spiritual embryo. Afterward, Lu Changxing returned inside the cave mansion, looking at the dazzling cocoon on the bed that shimmered with a platinum radiance. He closely monitored Bai Ling's situation to avoid any accidents during the process. Bai Yun peeked a courtyard. Lu Yun walked out of the practice room, his face still somewhat pale and languid. Although the failed foundation establishment didn't cause him severe injury, it still damaged his vitality and he needed a long rest. Master, Grandpa. A woman in the courtyard, along with 2 young children, looked at Lu Yun and immediately called out. This was his wife and their grandchildren. Fu. Lu Yun, seeing his wife and the 2 young children, his mature face showed a hint of a smile. As one gets older, there tends to be a close bond with the grandchildren. His initial few children did not possess spiritual roots, which led him to have a distant feeling towards his children, with not much expectation placed on them. Later, as he took on the role of family head, he rarely paid attention to his children at home. Now having stepped down from the position of family head, seeing his grandchildren before him, he felt quite emotional. Jier and Fuer will also have their spiritual roots tested in a couple of years, right? Lu Yun asked his wife. Early in his years, under the arrangement of his mother Lu Miaoyun, he had 3 wives and 6 concubines, fathering 25 children. However, out of those 25 children, only 5 possessed spiritual roots, the rest were sent to Rui Prefecture. Jier and Fuer are 4.5 years old, they can go for the spiritual root test next year. Hearing this, his wife's fair face showed a trace of worry. Although both parents of these twin grandchildren have spiritual roots, it's still not guaranteed that they will have them as well. And even possessing spiritual roots, if they are merely lower grade, the path to becoming a cultivator is bleak. Grandpa, will I have a spiritual root? Lu Yuanjie, standing nearby, asked with his little head raised. Having been born in by Lake Mountain, influenced by what they saw and heard, they naturally knew about spiritual roots and cultivation. Spiritual roots. Lu Yun, looking at his grandson's slightly chubby face, became a bit lost in thought, reminiscing about his eldest son. When he was young he seemed to have asked the same question. But now his son's face had become somewhat blurred in his memory. Certainly when my Jier grows up, Grandpa will teach you how to cultivate. Seeing his grandson's hopeful eyes, Lu Yun, his face slightly pallid yet aged, revealed a gentle smile and softly spoke. After chatting for a while, his wife took the 2 grandchildren and left. Lu Yun leaned back on the recliner, looking up at the azure sky, muttering, spiritual roots. 9th grade spiritual roots, even if one has spiritual roots, 90% are just lower grade. Lower grade spiritual roots, even with chances and foundation establishment elixirs, making foundation establishment is immensely difficult. See Tich novel, F. Iyer. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Previously seeing how his siblings managed foundation establishment, Lu Yun thought it wasn't as hard as imagined. All that was needed was a foundation establishment elixir, and success was highly likely. Yet only after his own attempt at foundation establishment did he realize that it was several times harder than he had thought. It's also my own inadequacy. Lu Yun thought of Lu Chuanjun, Lu Rui, Lu Qingsong, Lu Caizhen and sighed deeply. After all, their father not only prepared foundation establishment elixirs and spirit objects but also assisted through external forces. In such circumstances, his own failure at foundation establishment could only mean his own incompetence, and he couldn't blame others. Otherwise, why did Lu Chuanjun, Lu Rui, Lu Qingsong and Lu Caizhen, all with the same lower-grade spiritual roots, succeed at foundation establishment? Without the foundation establishment elixirs, even with middle-grade spiritual roots, making foundation establishment is immensely difficult. The hope is slim. Lu Yun, hearing the playful noises outside the small courtyard, slightly turned his head and mused to himself. Having been the family head for many years, he was very aware that even with the family's wealth, it was impossible to provide a foundation establishment elixir for everyone. It was only his father's generosity that now allowed his siblings to receive an elixir once they reached the 9th level energy refinement. In the future, as the number of people increases for the 3rd and 4th generations of the Lu family, it will be difficult for everyone to have a foundation establishment elixir. They must rely on their own efforts and compete. Without support, among my descendants, perhaps none might break through foundation establishment. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1209. Lu Yun's heart suddenly felt desolate. He felt that in this life he was mediocre and incompetent. Even the descendants of his family seemed destined to be mediocre and aimless. Brother Yun, you followed in our father's footsteps but only grasped the surface. Are you sure you truly understand father? At this moment, Lu Yun suddenly remembered something Lu Chuanjun had said to him long ago. Father. Lu Yun paused in his heart, feeling indeed that he did not truly understand his father. Even now, his father, Lu Changxing, was still enshrouded in a mist, elusive and incomprehensible. However, at this moment, a thought arose in his heart. If he could not surpass his siblings, then he would change the track. If his children and grandchildren were incompetent, he would just have more children. As long as he had enough children, some of them were bound to be talented and gifted. Although I am mediocre, if I choose to cultivate the heavenly longevity technique, I could devote all my time and energy to bearing and raising children, teaching them. Moreover, once I achieve foundation establishment, the talents of the children born will reach even higher levels. Lu Yun muttered to himself, his heart's gloom gradually dissipating, replaced by a surge of boldness. However, hearing the playful laughter of his wife and grandson outside the yard, a self-mocking expression appeared in his eyes, and he muttered to himself, after all is said and done, I am still fundamentally a selfish and indifferent person. This is just an excuse for myself, hoping it would gain my father's affection. When foundation establishment failed, his father talked to him about the heavenly longevity technique, and he was indeed a bit baffled and unsure how to choose. But after calming down, he had more or less made up his mind. Yet there was still a hurdle in his heart. If I break through foundation establishment and live for 200 years, won't I still have to watch them go through birth, aging, sickness and death? Lu Yun gazed at the blue sky and white clouds, sighing. He knew that if he asked his parents, his father would likely give him another chance to attempt foundation establishment. But if foundation establishment failed again, then he would truly have no chance of achieving it in this lifetime. The heavenly longevity technique not only offered a hope for foundation establishment, but even relying on his father, he might reach that lofty and unattainable realm of core formation. As for not being able to leave by Lake Mountain as long as one is alive, there are choices. In the Changxing Hall, Lu Changxing was constantly observing the white golden cocoon formed by Ling. Changxing, the auction at Red Leaf Valley Market is about to start. That day Lu Miaoge, in a plain white dress, looking like a breathtakingly beautiful figure, utterly ethereal, came to the cave mansion and tenderly said to Lu Changxing, "The auction is about to start?" Upon hearing this, Lu Changxing pondered for a moment and said, "Sister Miaoge, take the golden armor bean mother and go oversee the auction. I will not go this time." Now Bai Ling was in an unknown condition, and he really couldn't rest assured to leave. Moreover, with the lineup at the auction including his daughter Lu Wangshu, the 9 Netherhound, Li Xingyu, Lu Munian, and Lu Yuanzhong who are foundation establishment fighters, now that Lu Miaoge and Li Xingrua are also going with such a lineup, Even if false core immortals came, they would not be able to cause much trouble. Linger is alright, isn't she? Knowing Bai Ling's situation, Lu Miaoge looked towards the white golden cocoon and inquired with concern. It's just a bloodline awakening, there should be no issues. Lu Changxing held his wife's hand and softly said, Sister Miaoge, if any unexpected situation arises, contact me immediately. Yes. Lu Miaoge softly responded, then with Li Xingrua, took the spirit boat towards Red Leaf Valley Market. They did not go directly to the Red Leaf Valley Market. Instead, they first went to Jianghu Mountain to pick up her father, Lu Yuanding. In just a few months' time, Lu Yuanding had aged significantly, his gaunt face covered with age spots. If it weren't for the spiritual medicine from Lu Changxing and the continuous care from Lu Miaoge, he might have already been in dire straits. Search *the Nefire. @ website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Miaoge, you have been working hard these days. Lu Yuanding, his eyes cloudy but shining with some brightness, said. Dad, don't let your emotions stir unnecessarily. Lu Miaoge supported her father and used Tai True water to regulate his qi blood. Changxing is tied up with some matters and can't leave right now. She spoke to nearby Lu Yuanzhong. It's normal to be busy with some matters. Lu Yuanzhong, also looking quite pale with gray hair and wrinkled face, responded. After a brief exchange, Lu Miaoge piloted the spirit boat, carrying Lu Yuanzhong, Lu Yuanding, along with her son Lu Qingxian and daughter Lu Qingqi, toward the Red Leaf Valley Market. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12:10, Red Leaf Valley Market. Due to the buzz created by the Lu family of Blue Lake Mountain, the final highlight of this year's auction is the Foundation Establishment Elixir, and with continuous hype, the traffic in Red Leaf Valley Market has surged in recent months, creating extraordinary excitement. Even many loose cultivators who know they have no chance at the Foundation Establishment pill have rushed over to join in the excitement, hoping to stumble upon an opportunity or good fortune. Yet another Foundation Establishment ancestor, TSK. This auction is really lively. I've counted, and today alone there have already been 7 Foundation building great cultivators who have arrived. That spirit boat, seems like it's from Purple Cloud Ridge, isn't it? Didn't someone from Purple Cloud Ridge just break through to Foundation Establishment recently? Why would they also attend this auction? As for Foundation Establishment elixirs, who would think they have too many? This auction might require the Lu family ancestor Lu Changxing and his Dao companion Lu Miaoge to preside together, otherwise, it would be impossible to maintain order. Outside the market, streaks of spiritual light flew by, accompanied by the landing of spirit boats, magic artifacts and birds. Many wearing the law enforcement robes of Red Leaf Valley Market from Blue Lake Mountain, Jianghu Mountain and Hundred Birds Lake were on patrol, maintaining order. If any Foundation building great cultivator landed, Lu Muping from the nearby pavilion would come out to greet them actively and invite them into the market. After all, this auction was too exciting and unprecedented. Faced with this situation, the 3 families had no choice but to be cautious. If this auction were to be ruined and unforeseen events occurred, not only would Red Leaf Valley Market's reputation plummet, but the 3 families would also be affected. Just then a dazzling blue spirit boat descended from the sky. See Tich Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Leading them was a woman with an exquisite figure, with her raven hair in a high bun, a clear and beautiful countenance like snow, wearing a plain white dress and a tall and graceful physique. The lady of the Lu family from Blue Lake Mountain, Lu Miaoge. The Lu family ancestor from Jianghu Mountain, Lu Yuanzhong. Why is the Lu family ancestor Lu Changxing from Blue Lake Mountain not seen? As soon as a cultivator saw the figures on the spirit boat, they immediately exclaimed, causing a little commotion. After all, Lu Miaoge is now also a well-known Foundation Establishment cultivator, recognized by many. As for Li Xingrua, not many knew her. Greetings to the ancestor. I have seen the lady. Auntie. Several patrolling disciples immediately came forward to greet them upon seeing this. These days the patrol in Red Leaf Valley Market has been very strict, both inside and out, with children from the 3 families visible everywhere. Lu Miaoge gently nodded in response, then turned to inquire from a 27 or 28-year-old woman, Qingyan, where's Wangshu? Auntie, Sister Wangshu has been inside the market these days, replied Lu Qingyan, a beautiful woman in silver armor, with an unadorned face, looking spirited and valiant. "Has anything happened in the market these days?" asked Lu Miaoge, continuing to show concern. "Occasionally a few petty thieves, but all have been dealt with," Lu Qingyan spoke with efficient grace. Although Red Leaf Valley Market is protected by Foundation establishment cultivators, and even the 9 Netherhound is brought over, there are still some bold robber cultivators who take risks and commit robbery in the vicinity. In the past few months, they have responded to several reports and dealt with numerous robber cultivator incidents. Uncle, Sixth Uncle, Aunt, Qingxian, Qingxi. At this moment, Lu Munian from the small pavilion greeted Lu Miaoge and the others as he saw them approaching. Muping. Lu Yuanzhong and Lu Miaoge briefly asked a few questions before leading the group into the market. "Why is it only Lu Miaoge? Where's Lu Changxing? At such a time Lu Changxing isn't here? Could it be that Lu Changxing has disguised himself, deliberately concealing himself to lure us into action? It's also possible that Lu Changxing is worried about accidents happening on White Tiger Mountain or Monkey Mountain, so he's causing a diversion and is currently on White Tiger Mountain," speculated some cultivators watching Lu Miaoge and others as their figures disappeared and then quietly relayed the message out. What a lively scene. Under the support of Lu Miaoge and Lu Qingxian, Lu Yuanding looked at the bustling market street, his aged face slightly flushed with excitement. This was a scene he had never dared to imagine. "Grandfather, in the future Red Leaf Valley Market will become even more prosperous and lively with our family, becoming a grand marketplace," Lu Qingxian earnestly said, feeling Grandpa's arm gripped his own tight, his youthful handsome face full of seriousness. "Good, Grandfather believes that day will come," Lu Yuanding reassured, patting his grandson's hand, his face full of contentment. As they spoke, they arrived at Red Leaf Peak. Besides several cave mansions rented out at the foot of the peak, the rest were for the family's own use. Standing on the mountain peak, Lu Yuanding looked down at the bustling scene of the marketplace, as if he wanted to etch this image forever in his heart. Lu Qingxian accompanied his grandfather at his side. However, Lu Yuanding's energy was weak, and after watching for a while he had to return to his room to rest. Inside a small courtyard, Lu Wangshu was chatting with her mother, Xiao Shiyu. Hearing the noise outside, she immediately got up to check. "Mother, Aunt Xingrua, you're here, Qingxian chair." Upon seeing Lu Miaoge and the others, Lu Wangshu called out. Having been raised by Lu Miaoge since she was a child, she was quite close to her and usually called her mother. "Wangshu, you've been working hard these days," said Lu Miaoge gently to the bright and flawless girl before her. "It hasn't been too bad. Where's my dad?" Lu Wangshu looked up, searching for her father Lu Changsheng's figure. After all, having worked so hard these days, her father must properly reward his precious daughter. "Your dad has some matters at home and can't get away, so he hasn't come," Lu Miaoge explained as she stroked her smooth, soft hair, her demeanor gentle as water. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 12:11. Humph, Mom and I have been waiting for him for so long, and he didn't even show up. Upon hearing this, Lu Wangshu immediately pouted with a coquettish hum. This time she had invited her mother Xianxia over, hoping for a family reunion, but her own father ended up not coming. "It's alright, Wangshu. Sir, the novel Fire. Any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality." Just then Xianxia emerged from the courtyard, dressed in a moon-white dress, with a cool and beautiful face and graceful curves, resembling a moon palace fairy. "Miaoge." Xianxia looked towards Lu Miaoge and nodded slightly. Because of Lu Changxing and her daughter, she had a pretty good relationship with Lu Miaoge. "Xia, Changxing truly has some matters to attend to and can't get away at the moment," Lu Miaoge explained on behalf of her husband as she looked at the fairy-like figure before her. "It's fine." Xiaoxia's expression remained cool and sanctified as she gently shook her head. She knew that Lu Changxing, who was breaking through to core formation, whether in practicing cultivation methods and abilities or in refining magical treasures, was very time-consuming and could no longer afford the leisureliness of earlier years. The group entered the courtyard to chat. Li Xingrua was not familiar with Xiaoxia and didn't try to forcefully join the conversation. Instead, she went to find her sister Li Xingyu and her daughter Lu Qingli. "Let's go, Qingxian chair, sister will take you to look around." Feeling somewhat bored, Lu Wangshu turned to her younger siblings and spoke. "Hee, thank you, sister." Upon hearing this, Lu Qingqi immediately responded with joy, happily clutching Lu Wangshu's arm. She was very fond of this sister. After all, this sister was very generous and open-handed. As long as she behaved obediently and showed her cuteness a bit, she often bought her nice things to eat and play with. Lu Qingxian followed, quiet and serene, staying by the side of her two sisters. Only occasionally did she ask Lu Wangshu some questions about the marketplace and the situation there. At the same time, many powers that were keeping an eye on Blue Lake Mountain's situation were secretly scheming and discussing fervently. Lu Changxing actually hasn't shown up, only sending Lu Miaoge alone? The two of them practicing dual cultivation techniques, their combat power would significantly decrease if they were separated. Lu Changxing definitely wouldn't do something so foolish. Could this be a deliberate ploy to provoke an attack? Should we seize this opportunity to deal with Lu Miaoge? Whoever wins the Foundation Establishment elixir, the moment they leave the marketplace we strike. If they dare to attempt Foundation establishment in the Red Leaf Valley market, we'll directly dismantle their market's great formation. White Tiger Mountain's guardian spiritual beast is currently stationed in Red Leaf Valley market. With no Foundation establishment cultivator available to protect White Tiger Mountain, we could take this opportunity to wreak havoc. Blue Lake Mountain placed its main puppet industry on White Tiger Mountain. They definitely have some defenses set up. Perhaps Lu Changxing is lurking on White Tiger Mountain, so it's safer to target Monkey Hill instead. Though Monkey Hill doesn't have any publicly known Foundation establishment cultivators sitting in, I suspect, just like the early years of White Tiger Mountain, they have hidden Foundation establishment cultivators. Humph, I don't believe that Monkey Hill also has a Lu Pingon. These forces were secretly conspiring to strike at Blue Lake Mountain during this opportunity. After all, the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family's rise to power had been very prominent recently, with both establishing a chamber of commerce and hosting such a large auction event. If the auction was to be successfully held, Blue Lake Mountain's reputation was sure to advance further. By then, when their fame spread throughout the Qingyun region, and even throughout the entire Jianghu country cultivation realm, countless loose cultivators and small family forces would deliver Foundation establishment pill materials they collected with great difficulty to Blue Lake Mountain for Foundation establishment elixirs. Under such circumstances, who could stop the rise of Blue Lake Mountain? So now, while there was still a chance, they naturally wanted to press down on the power of Blue Lake Mountain and prevent its smooth rise. The next day the auction officially began. On the streets, countless cultivators headed towards the auction venue. Good heavens, so many Foundation establishment ancestors. Isn't this the famous Qi refinement perfection master among loose cultivators, the Thousand Extinction Hermit? Aren't these people from Jinlong Ridge Jin family? They've actually come to attend the auction? The crowd was abuzz with talk as Hong Yi, dressed in a purple garment, his face now lined with wrinkles, arrived at the auction venue with his son Hong Xuanji. Time flies indeed. Hong Yi looked at the bustling venue before him, his expression laden with emotion. As he grew older, he seldom left Rui Prefecture and had not been to Red Leaf Valley Market for almost 10 years. He came this time upon hearing about the Foundation establishment elixir, wanting to join in the excitement and also to meet Lu Changxing. Looking at the now completely transformed and bustling Red Leaf Valley Market, he felt a mix of familiarity and strangeness. He clearly remembered that when Red Leaf Valley Market was still in preparation, he had purchased a shop here for 1,800 spirit stones through his connection with Lu Changxing. However, with the prosperity of Red Leaf Valley Market, the price of this shop has also increased several times over. With the speed at which his Rui Marquis mansion earned money, it would take decades to accumulate enough spirit stones to buy a shop like this. At the entrance of the auction venue, a Lu family disciple who was maintaining order saw Hong Yi and Hong Xuanji and immediately approached them politely. "I've seen Uncle Hong and I've seen brother-in-law. Yun Fei." Hong Xuanji recognized this Lu family's son and exchanged a few simple pleasantries. After that, the two were led to the VIP seats. Normally, based on their status, it would be difficult for them to sit in the VIP area. But Hong Yi was after all an old friend of Lu Changxing, so Lu Xingyang had reserved some seats early on. "Xuanji, why hasn't Saijin come?" After sitting down, Hong Yi glanced around at the other seats. He saw many Lu family's sons but did not see Lu Saijin, expressing his surprise. He had previously thought his daughter-in-law would be together with other Lu family disciples or be arranged to deal with some affairs. "Father-in-law, Saijin has other arrangements from the family, so she has been quite busy these days." Hong Xuanji paused for a moment and whispered in reply. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12:12. Although Lu Kaizen's foundation establishment was not publicized, his wife, lacking scheming, often spoke to him about various matters, so he faintly speculated about it but never dared to confirm. You and your spouse should get along well on normal days. Upon hearing this, Hong Yi slightly nodded and then inquired about the situation of the Lu family. After hearing that there had been no news about Lu Chuanjun, Hong Yi sighed. He had high hopes for Lu Chuanjun in his earlier years. He believed that even with a lower-grade spiritual root, Lu Chuanjun could achieve no small success. Later, upon hearing that Lu Chuanjun exhibited the strength of the energy refinement late stage during the assault on White Tiger Mountain, he even believed that the other party could break through to foundation establishment. Unfortunately, Lu Chuanjun had been out for so many years without any news. Otherwise, if Lu Chuanjun had broken through to foundation establishment, he might have been able to support his own son. Alas! Hong Xuanji also sighed slightly when talking about Lu Chuanjun, not knowing where his elder brother-in-law had gone. The other party had bid him and Lu Caizhen farewell when he set out years ago, leaving behind some parting words. But unexpectedly, after so many years, there was not a trace of news. Time passed by little. After the venue became crowded, a man and a woman came onto the auction stage. Welcome all seniors and Taoist friends to grace Red Leaf Valley Market with your presence. I am Lu Xianxia from Blue Lake Mountain, fortunate to preside over this auction. I hope everyone can purchase items to your liking. During the auction process, it is forbidden to threaten or maliciously inflate prices, and such disruptive behaviors will result in the forfeiture of cultivation level and expulsion from the market. After a few opening remarks and introducing the auction rules, the man went straight to the point and began to introduce the auction items. The first item of this auction is the Breakthrough Elixir. In addition to the Finale Foundation Establishment Elixir, Lu Changxing also had his family prepare some fine elixir medicines, talismans, and heavenly and earthly treasures for this auction. The many treasures he had acquired from White Peak Immortal could slowly be processed through such auctions. However, it was difficult to liquidate advanced-level heavenly and earthly treasures at the modest Red Leaf Valley Market. 100 Spirit Stones. 150 Spirit Stones. 200 Spirit Stones. With each item presented, the auction proceeded vigorously. Even though many came for the Foundation Establishment Elixir at the end, they also gained considerable rewards from this auction. The auction was grand, lasting 3 days. There was also an intermission midway each day. On the third day, the auction entered its final phase. The quality of items today was increasingly high, with casual bidding amounts reaching hundreds, thousands, and even nearly 10,000. Ladies and gentlemen, next up is the last item of our Red Leaf Valley Market auction, the Foundation Establishment Elixir. Lu Xianxia spoke with a somewhat excited voice on the stage. Sir, the Novelier. N.T. website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. As soon as these words were uttered, the atmosphere in the entire venue seemed to solidify. Countless people held their breath, staring intently at the auction stage. Suddenly, a stunning woman in a pink and white dress, with a beautiful, radiant and pristine appearance, exuding a peaceful and elegant charm, stepped onto the stage and handed out a porcelain vial. Who is this woman? She's so beautiful. Lu Wangshu, the Lu family ancestor Lu Changsheng's much-beloved daughter, a second-grade talisman master. A second-grade talisman master? Lu Changsheng, truly starting from the talisman path, now has a second-ranked talisman master in his children. If I could marry this woman, wouldn't Foundation Establishment be hopeful? The descendants of the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family seem to have quite a few good-looking ones. You can always trust the taste of the Lu ancestor. What magic artifact did this woman use to conceal her cultivation level? Is she not an energy-refining cultivator but a Foundation Establishment cultivator? As Lu Wangshu stepped onto the stage, many people immediately started discussing, with looks of admiration and astonishment. Some Foundation Establishment ancestors seeing Lu Wangshu suspected that she might be a Foundation Establishment cultivator. After all, a precious elixir like the Foundation Establishment elixir, in order to avoid risks, would not generally be placed in the hands of energy-refining cultivators. Sister Wangshu has worked hard. Lu Xianxia received the Foundation Establishment elixir, then opened it and announced, The function of the Foundation Establishment Elixir, I believe, needs no further explanation. It can harmonize the three barriers of Foundation Establishment, protect and strengthen the meridians and dantian of the breakthrough practitioner, significantly improving the chances and safety of Foundation Establishment. However, this particular Foundation Establishment Elixir has a flaw. It is but an inferior Foundation Establishment Elixir, and can only increase the likelihood of Foundation Establishment by 10%. Lu Qingzi spoke with a clear voice, introducing the item. An inferior Foundation Establishment Elixir, increasing the chances by 10%? Upon hearing this, various forces in the venue reacted with both surprise and disappointment. After all, many had come in hopes of a genuine Foundation Establishment Elixir. Meanwhile, some of the loose cultivators and small family forces realized the competition for the inferior Foundation Establishment Elixir would be much less, giving them a chance. This Foundation Establishment Elixir will have a starting bid of 5,000 spirit stones, and each increment must not be less than 200. Lu Qingzi announced loudly, unperturbed by the commotion below. Lu Wangshu remained gracefully upright on the stage, observing the surroundings to prevent disturbances. 6,000 spirit stones. 7,000 spirit stones. 7,500 spirit stones. Despite being an inferior Foundation Establishment Elixir, the competition was fierce. The price soon soared to 8,000 spirit stones. Many loose cultivators sighed at the sight. They had hoped for a slight chance with the inferior Foundation Establishment Elixir. Yet the competition remained intense. Many factions, after hesitating for a moment, also chose to give up. After all, besides being flawed, the elixir carried risks on the journey back. 10,200 spirit stones. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12-13. In the end, the price of the inferior Foundation Establishment Elixir broke through 10,000 spirit stones. Faced with this price, other forces ceased to continue bidding. If it were a genuine Foundation Establishment Elixir, they would be willing to pay even a few thousand more. But for an inferior Foundation Establishment Elixir, after all, the effect is limited. It's very likely to be wasted. Huang family from Huangyang Ridge? It's actually them. It's said that the Huang family patriarch is gravely injured, with not much lifespan left. No wonder they are willing to bid this price. The Huang family didn't send any Foundation Establishment cultivators, only 2 energy refining cultivators. Getting the Foundation Establishment Elixir, they may face the risk of being robbed. Many cultivators looked towards the bidder, whispering among themselves. Before long, a middle-aged man dressed in a yellow cotton robe arrived at the auction, paid the spirit stones, and received the Foundation Establishment Elixir. Lu Daoist, may I ask if I could borrow a dwelling in Red Leaf Valley Market to attempt Foundation Establishment breakthrough? Regardless of success or failure, we of Huangyang Ridge will owe Lu family a favor, and are willing to offer additional spirit stones. The middle-aged man said with a cupped fist salute. He himself understood that carrying the Foundation Establishment Elixir back to attempt the breakthrough could be very dangerous. Hence he wanted to attempt it directly in Red Leaf Valley Market. Huang Daoist, a large amount of nature's spiritual energy is needed when breaking through to Foundation Establishment. The current situation in our Red Leaf Valley Market is just enough to maintain the operation of the Great Formation. If someone attempts Foundation Establishment, it will surely affect the market's Great Formation. Moreover, it is a special period right now and quite honestly inconvenient. On hearing this, Lu Qingzi immediately spoke out to tactfully refuse. About this matter, the family had already given instructions beforehand, saying that they shouldn't allow anyone to attempt Foundation Establishment in the marketplace. Because apart from robber cultivators and heretic cultivators, many forces are now eyeing by Lake Mountain and Red Leaf Valley Market. Once such a situation arises, it's possible that some forces could disguise as robber cultivators and seize the opportunity to cause chaos in the market, brewing a disaster. Sigh. Upon hearing this, the middle-aged man sighed, somewhat disappointed. But he had anticipated this. The spirit vein of Red Leaf Valley Market was not impressive. To support the market's Great Formation at full operation was already pushing it. How could they provide a dwelling for someone to attempt Foundation Establishment? If the attempt caused problems to the Great Formation and led to a disaster, even by Lake Mountain might not be able to suppress it. Huang Daoist, you can stay in the market for the time being and inform your family elders, or you could ask Tianwei Escort Bureau's escort guards to escort you back. At this moment, Lu Qingze spoke to the middle-aged man. As the auction's hosts, they naturally do not wish for buyers to encounter any mishaps just after leaving Red Leaf Valley Market or on their way back. That would adversely affect their own reputation. All right. The middle-aged man nodded, knowing this was the only way, and prepared to inform his family elders and contact the escort guards. However, as he looked at the bustling venue, he still couldn't help but ask with some hope. Huang is going to return to Huangyang Ridge. Is there any senior willing to escort me? Huangyang Ridge is not only willing to pay spirit stones but also owes the senior a favor. Yet there was no response. Many Foundation establishment forces here knew that By Lake Mountain was being watched by various powers. Even false core-level forces were eyeing this auction to spoil it. Who knows if there were Foundation establishment cultivators lying in ambush not too far outside. So, to earn a bit of spirit stones, it definitely wasn't worth the risk. Seeing no one responded, the middle-aged man could only give up, requesting someone to send a message to his family and arrange for someone to pick him up. As the auction came to an end, the cultivators in the venue quickly departed. Some cultivators who had participated in the bidding and spent money immediately took this time to disguise and camouflage themselves, leaving Red Leaf Valley Market. Wangshu, Qingze, Qingli, you've all worked hard. At this time, Lu Miaoge and Li Xingrua came backstage, looking at Lu Wangshu and the others, and spoke. It's alright, these days mainly Qingze and cousin Mu Ping have been busy. Lu Wangshu usually had a scholarly and gentle demeanor, serene and refined. Auntie, it's my responsibility. It's also my first time hosting such an auction. I was still a bit nervous. Lu Qingze and Lu Qingli said with a smile. After speaking for a while, Lu Miaoge went to visit her father Lu Yuanding. This auction took too long and currently Lu Yuanding's energy simply couldn't last through it. He took a rest partway through. At this moment, at the entrance to Red Leaf Valley Market, one after another, cultivators were seen leaving the market, flying on spirit boats, flying swords and magic artifacts. Shortly after, suddenly, powerful Foundation establishment spiritual pressures pervaded the air. One saw several figures wearing hats and black robes, covering their faces, appearing. They coldly told the cultivators coming out of the market, "Leave behind your valuables and your lives shall be spared." "Spare my life, please." A Foundation establishment cultivator, it's all over. "Spare me, senior, I'm willing to give up my storage bag." The cultivators who had just left the door immediately changed their expressions, overwhelmed by the spiritual pressure. None of them expected that there would be Foundation establishment cultivators laying in wait outside the market, and it seemed that there were 5 of them. This is a deliberate attempt by a force targeting Red Leaf Valley Market. Someone immediately realized that the situation was not right. After all, what robber cultivator would dare to rob openly right outside a market? They would typically be tens of miles away. Roar! The 9 netherhounds stationed in the market looked towards the situation here and suddenly roared, its voice reverberating powerfully enough to shake one's heart. This is Bihu Lake Mountain's guardian spiritual beast? How terrifying! What kind of spiritual beast is that? It looks so ferocious. Many energy-refining cultivators seeing the 9 netherhound couldn't help but shudder. Some who had just released their spiritual bird mounts found them cowering and trembling under the aura of the 9 netherhound, shaking uncontrollably. See Oval Fire. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. However, the distant 5 masked robber cultivators seeing this scene just sneered and began attacking the surrounding chi-refining loose cultivators. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12-14. How dare these robber cultivators cause trouble at our Red Leaf Valley Market? At the marketplace entrance, Lu Qingyan and her patrol heard the commotion, her pretty face darkened and she shouted loudly. She immediately activated the marketplace's great formation, preventing others from going out and triggering the yin-yang sensing talisman. However, upon witnessing this scene, the 5 masked robber cultivators sneered viciously and started attacking the chi-refining loose cultivators around them. In an instant, several energy-refining cultivators fell, bleeding to their death. In the face of Foundation establishment cultivators, unless energy-refining cultivators have powerful treasures, they stand no chance at all. Damn it! Seeing this unfold, Lu Qingyan clenched her silver teeth and fists tightly, her face looking extremely ugly, knowing that the enemy was showing off their power to deliberately provoke them. Inside the marketplace, Lu Wangshu was talking with her mother, Xianxia. Suddenly, they heard the roar of a nine-netherhound, and she gently raised her slender hand, looking at the sensing talisman flashing red in her palm. Is there a Foundation establishment cultivator making a move outside? Seeing this, Xianxia closed her eyes to sense and immediately detected the disturbance outside the marketplace, the spiritual pressure of Foundation establishment. As Xingyang said, someone did come to stir up trouble. On hearing this, Lu Wangshu's beautiful face suddenly showed a hint of coldness. They had already anticipated that other forces might cause trouble at this auction. They just weren't sure when these hidden forces would choose to act. Mother, I'll go take a look. Lu Wangshu immediately said. These people making their moves so close to the marketplace had an obvious purpose. It was to damage the reputation of the Red Leaf Valley market by proxy, and indirectly suppress the Blue Lake Mountain. Mother will go with you, Xianxia said softly. Although aware that her daughter's combat capability is extraordinary. If she were to throw all the talismans given by Lu Changxing, even she, the mother, might not be a match and would be thrown into disarray. But in this situation she still was not at ease letting Lu Wangshu go alone. Alright, later on, please help me with the plundering formation, mother? Lu Wangshu pursed her lips and smiled, also looking forward to showing off her skills. Immediately, the two walked out of the courtyard, flying toward the entrance of the marketplace. Flight is prohibited within the marketplace, but Foundation establishment cultivators are not affected. Wangshu. At this moment, Lu Muping and Lu Yuanzhong saw Lu Wangshu and Xianxia and immediately called out to them. Cousin Muping. Lu Wangshu often visited the Red Leaf Valley market, so she was also familiar with Lu Muping. Wangshu's appearance, why does it somewhat resemble Fairy Shiyu? At this time, Lu Muping glanced at Lu Wangshu and Xianxia and suddenly paused, noticing the similarity between their eyes and facial contours. Could it be? He abruptly did not dare to continue his thoughts. He found it too astonishing. Lu Yuanzhong acted as if he hadn't noticed anything. He had once seen Fairy Shiyu at Blue Lake Mountain in his early years and had conjectured after seeing the grown-up Lu Wangshu. But such matters were too shocking, and he never mentioned it to avoid bringing trouble to Lu Changxing. Xianxia noticed Lu Muping's gaze and instantly, her cool and holy visage was covered by a layer of moonlight, making it difficult for anyone to discern her features for a moment. A short while later, the four arrived at the entrance of the Red Leaf Valley market. They immediately saw that 5 Foundation establishment cultivators were blocking the outside, attacking the departing loose cultivators. Sister Wangshu, Cousin Muping. Lu Qingyan and the others saw Lu Wangshu rushing over and immediately cried out. Being blocked at the door, merely watching, was truly stifling. If this incident were to spread, it could seriously damage both their family name and the marketplace's reputation. Damn it. Seeing this scene, Lu Wangshu's pretty face turned icy, and she transformed into an escape light, charging out. Wangshu. Sister Wangshu. Upon seeing this, Lu Muping and others immediately changed color and exclaimed in shock. One must realize that these were 5 Foundation establishment cultivators. Moreover, the mana spiritual pressure of 2 among the 5 was extremely powerful, most likely at the Foundation establishment midstage. With such strength, wasn't Lu Wangshu heading to her doom? You all managed the marketplace formation. Xiaoxia's voice was clear, cold, and detached as she spoke to Lu Muping and Lu Yuanzhong, then she immediately followed after. So, Lu Wangshu is indeed a Foundation establishment cultivator. Another Foundation establishment cultivator, the Lu family of Blue Lake Mountain, has hidden their strength quite deeply. But the little girl seems inexperienced in the world, acting so impulsively. Who is this lady in white? At the entrance of the marketplace, some cultivators who knew of Lu Wangshu narrowed their eyes upon witnessing the scene, and their wariness of Blue Lake Mountain increased a bit. After all, a Foundation establishment cultivator emerging every now and then was truly alarming. Haha, where did this little girl come from? She's courting death. The 5 Foundation establishment cultivators who were undertaking the plundering laughed out loud upon seeing Lu Wangshu. One of them immediately sacrificed a small golden knife spiritual artifact and launched an attack at Lu Wangshu. Whiz. Lu Wangshu's lovely face showed indifference as talismans streamed out from her pink-white sleeves, swirling around her, integrating their energies, like an armor made of talismans emanating a mysterious aura. Furthermore, talismans flew in all directions, arranging themselves in the sky dome as if to form some sort of formation. Clang. Sir, the novel undersphere. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The golden knife spiritual artifact came within a zhang of Lu Wangshu and was immediately stopped by an invisible barrier, emitting a clang. Such a method, a talisman cultivator. Is this not the Lu family ancestor Lu Changsheng's signature technique, talisman formation? I didn't expect this girl to have inherited Lu Changsheng's talisman path legacy. Back when Lu Changsheng had just broken through to Foundation Establishment, he depended on the talisman formation technique to suppress 3 Foundation Establishment members of the Yu family. No wonder the girl is so confident, daring to face 5 Foundation Establishment cultivators alone. Even though the talisman formation is formidable, as long as there are enough talismans, one could overcome opponents of a higher level. However, facing 5 Foundation Establishment cultivators alone is too arrogant. No, the lady in white behind her is not simple. Who is this woman? The lady of the Lu family, Lu Miaoga? At the entrance of the market, everyone who witnessed the scene was filled with doubt and astonishment. Lu Yuanzhong saw this scene, and his expression became slightly dazed. He recalled the scene from 40 years ago when Lu Miaoga was assaulting her Foundation Establishment, the 3 Foundation Establishment members of the Yu family attacked, and Lu Changxing emerged from the formation, summoning a talisman formation, suppressing the 3 Foundation Establishment cultivators. Is this a talisman formation? We absolutely cannot let her deploy the talisman formation. Spread out and take action. The 5 Foundation Establishment robber cultivators came prepared, having done their homework, and knew they must not be trapped by the talisman formation. They immediately scattered, summoning magic artifacts, casting techniques at Lu Wangshu and Xianxia. Xianxia looked at the 5 approaching people, her body enveloped in a pale lunar glow. She remained still. She knew that her daughter's cultivation up to now had never been revealed to the outside world. She anticipated a day when her daughter could make a name for herself in the cultivation world. And today this was her daughter's stage to shine. Still, she remained vigilant, ready to take action in an instant if her daughter encountered any danger. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12-15, Shu Shu Shu. Lu Wangshu faced the 5 attackers, lightly pursed her pink lips, her pretty face serious, with talismanic light winding around her, suddenly shooting out, taking on the offensive of 5 by herself. At the same time, a dark luo umbrella appeared above Lu Wangshu's head, spinning wildly, transforming into numerous Xuanzhen talismans and arrayed around her. Boom, boom, boom. The collision of spells caused a series of explosive sounds, resulting in a terrifying wave of mana aftermath. Hiss, this woman is facing 5 Foundation Establishment great cultivators and is not at a disadvantage at all. You call this not at a disadvantage? Consuming so many talismans at the first encounter is simply extravagantly wasteful. Is this a battle or a splurge of money? I've always heard that talisman cultivators are spendthrifts. Today I've really seen it. Damn it, the amount spent in this single encounter exceeds the spirit stones I could earn in 10 years. If she keeps relying on talismans like this, she can probably only hold out for a bit. It might be difficult for her to repel 5 people. Right, if she can't trap these 5 in a talisman formation, once she runs out of talismans she's more likely to face misfortune than luck. Who is this lady in white? Why isn't she taking action? At the marketplace entrance, many cultivators were discussing animatedly as they watched the conflict in the sky before them. By this time Lu Miaoga, Li Xingrua, and Li Xingyu had also arrived. However, seeing the battle outside they did not take action immediately. 1. 9. Seal. Suppress. Intercept. Annihilate. Lu Wangshu's body illuminated as if she was wearing a 9-colored talisman robe, her curves enchanting, her black hair flowing, her eyes sharp and piercing. Instantly, dozens of talismans charged towards the 5, sealing, suppressing, intercepting, annihilating from all directions, leaving no gaps. Humph, little girl, I want to see just how many talismans you have. Such a method truly astonishing. So this is a talisman cultivator? If this young girl can wield so many talismans, how many can Lu Changxing wield? This girl must be eliminated, otherwise once she grows up she will be another Lu Changxing. The 5 Foundation Establishment robber cultivators, seeing Lu Wangshu taking the initiative and looking imposing, all had a hint of wariness in their eyes. If it wasn't for the fact that there were 5 of them, they would not dare to take on Lu Wangshu. After all, if it were one-on-one, they feared that in a few exchanges, they would be bombarded into dust by these talismans. This also instilled in them an even stronger killing intent towards Lu Wangshu, wishing to nip this talent in the bud. Boom, boom, boom. The two sides continued to clash, Lu Wangshu's talismans bombarding furiously, preventing the 5 from getting close. Facing this situation, the 5 also gave up attacking and shifted to defense as their primary tactic. They separated and took their positions, using spiritual artifacts, waiting for an opportunity. Sir the Novel Fire. Any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Wangshu let out a light snort, seeing that the 5 did not dare confront her head-on, wishing to drag out the fight to exhaust her. Suddenly, she performed a series of rapid gesture incantations, and her slender, fair finger traced in the void like a swimming dragon. In an instant, a golden talisman formed. From this talisman, 1 produced 2, 2 produced 4, 4 produced 8. In the blink of an eye, 99 talismans appeared, forming a talisman formation around her, supporting her figure which looked extraordinarily beautiful. What technique is this, an illusion technique? No, these are all talismans, drawing talisman in the void. Could this be the legendary drawing talisman in the void? Hiss, Lu Changxing has hidden his hand well, all these years, never have I seen him display such a method. He truly concealed his skill. If it weren't for his daughter, we really wouldn't know that his talisman path inheritance was so amazing. Everyone was shocked by Lu Wangshu's methods. Jianghu country was not known for a renowned talisman cultivator heritage. Occasionally, a few talisman cultivators would appear with some related records. Therefore, techniques like drawing talisman in the void were unheard of, unseen by many present. Seeing Lu Wangshu's methods left them astounded. Realizing that the talisman path inheritance of the Lu family was extraordinary, Xianxia, watching her daughter's techniques, had a touch of gentle pride in her eyes. Unwittingly, the infant once in her swaddling clothes had grown to such an extent. She still remembered giving birth to Lu Wangshu at the Red Leaf Valley Market with Lu Changxing. She is only at the initial stage of foundation establishment, she won't last long. Right, this woman is not adept in combat, such blind bombarding, before long she will deplete her talismans and mana. Be careful, do not take her lightly. The 5 had serious expressions as they looked at Lu Wangshu and Xianxia, communicating with divine sense. However, thinking that they, 5 people, were being made to struggle by such a junior at foundation establishment, they were extremely frustrated. Now is the moment. After a moment of stalemate with the 5, Lu Wangshu, observing the arranged talismans above, suddenly had a stern look, her fingertips danced. A 9-colored talismanic script slowly traced across her smooth white forehead, seemingly sketching out an ancient rune. The rune transformed into a mysterious and profound 9-colored divine talisman. As the talisman emerged, all the talismans around Lu Wangshu burst with spiritual light, converging and interweaving, forming a giant talisman several zhang in size. At the same time, in the heavens and earth, in all directions, ripples appeared in the void, forming numerous talismans spinning wildly. 99 Xian Talisman Array Formation. Golden Light Ultimate Heaven and Earth. Lu Wangshu incanted with a clear voice as she formed gesture incantations. Suddenly, the talismans spinning in all directions converged, their chi fusing together, forming an extremely strong golden barrier that trapped the 5 foundation establishment robber cultivators. Oh, this isn't good. A trivial initial stage of foundation establishment, trying to trap us 5, overestimating herself. This wench is using such techniques, she's too busy to be distracted, kill her. The 5, seeing the situation, observed the golden light shining from all sides, the shrinking barrier, and immediately charged towards Lu Wangshu. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12:16, however. Dong dong dong, golden barriers appeared one after another, isolating them individually and sealing them within. Kill? The eyes of the 5 were fierce, mana surged as they bombarded the golden barriers, not believing that Lu Wangshu, a mere early-stage foundation establishment cultivator, could trap all 5 of them. Boom boom boom, these golden barriers seemed endless, no sooner had they been cracked and fissures appeared than another was instantly formed. Heavy water 3,000 marshes surged mightily. Lu Wangshu formed hand seals with a clear shout, infinite talismans proliferated, forming a talisman formation. With the two merging talisman formations, raging torrents struck toward the five within the golden barriers, overwhelming and seemingly eroding the cultivators' physical bodies and mana. Infinite raging fire burns fiercely. Within the realm of water and fire, a golden lotus is planted. 9-colored talismanic script glittered between Lu Wangshu's brows, her hands continuously forming seals, and inside her chi ocean core, the profound origin bead spun wildly, pouring out stored mana. For someone like Lu Wangshu to act in this way, the mana of ordinary foundation establishment cultivators couldn't keep up. Yet even with the profound origin bead, Lu Wangshu's charming and beautiful face still paled slightly. For a moment. Shocking waves, turbulent waves. Blazing fires spreading wildly and lighting the sky. Behind Lu Wangshu, all talismans converged, spiritual light surged and golden lights exploded, forming sharp golden lotuses, striking down the five. Piu. In an instant, 3 robber cultivators at the early stage of foundation establishment were severely injured under the onslaught of water, fire, and golden lotuses, blood spewing, their vitality waning. This, to contend against 5 alone and still hold upper hand. Talisman cultivator, such a terrifying talisman cultivator. Once the talisman formation is formed, there's no match within the same level. If encountering a talisman cultivator, one must finish the battle quickly. If her talisman formation is refined, it will be troublesome. Is this girl just beginning foundation establishment? How is her mana so vigorous and vast? Blue Lake Mountain Lu Wangshu. Didn't expect that after Lu Pingan, Blue Lake Mountain's Lu family has another Lu Wangshu, such fortune in Blue Lake Mountain's Lu family. The spectating cultivators were profoundly shocked, their expressions grave. Sir the Novelier. N.T. website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Sister Wangshu is so formidable. So Sister Wangshu is this powerful. Wow, go Sister Wangshu. Lu Qingyan, Lu Qingze, Lu Qingqi and other members of the Lu family were all surprised to see this. They never expected their usually somewhat idiosyncratic sister to be so fierce, instantly exhilarated. In the crowd, a few people looked up at Lu Wangshu and Xianxia in the sky, their expressions shifting. Taoist, please stop, we admit defeat and are willing to leave. At this moment, a robber foundation establishment cultivator, realizing the battle could lead to their demise, shouted loudly towards Lu Wangshu. Indeed, young friend, we are willing to offer compensation. Seeing this, another robber cultivator called out. They came here just to cause trouble, to strike at the Red Leaf Valley market, and had no intention of losing their lives over it. The other 3 remained silent but were also considering retreating. Knowing that continuing the battle would mean waiting for Lu Changxing or a cultivator from Qingyun sect to arrive, which would be very troublesome. Humph, you come to my family's market to cause trouble and think you can just stop whenever you want? It's not that simple. Do you really think Blue Lake Mountain is so easy to bully? Lu Wangshu's hair flew about, her face crystal clear and stunningly beautiful, and she spoke with a cold voice. As she spoke, her hands continued to form gesture incantations, endlessly deriving talismans around her, forming golden lotuses that continuously attacked the 5 people. The 99 Xuanzhen talismans arranged around her body also merged into the golden lotuses at this moment, bursting forth with endless sharp auras. Poo. Suddenly, a foundation establishment cultivator under the attack of the talisman formation was pierced through the body, vomiting blood, and was left gasping for air, barely alive. Young one, do you really want to fight to the death? A robber cultivator at the mid-stage of foundation establishment shouted aloud upon seeing this. Knowing that if they do not fight with all their might, they are likely to perish here today. Fight to the death? Just try. Lu Wangshu formed a seal with one hand and continually sketched talismans in the void with the other, forming strands of spirit talismans. Such arrogance from a junior, let's fight her to the death. This mid-stage foundation establishment robber cultivator let out a long howl to the sky, displayed a secret technique, and his aura climbed dramatically, beginning to fight desperately. However, among the other 4, 2 had already perished, covered in blood. Boom. The remaining 3 fought desperately, furiously striking at the talisman formation, trying to break through and kill Lu Wangshu. But by then the talisman formation was already complete, and even though the 3 wanted to fight desperately, they couldn't break through at all, feeling a surge of despair. Swoosh! However, just at that moment, suddenly, a masked Foundation establishment cultivator burst forth, rushing towards Lu Wangshu with murderous intent. Seeking death. Next to her, Xiaoxiu's eyes gleamed with a crystal-cold light like the nine heavens' bright moon, suddenly raising her hand to slap forward. Buzz! An invisible ripple spread out, causing the body of the rushing Foundation establishment cultivator to stiffen suddenly. Bang bang bang! Sounds of dull explosions immediately resounded within the body of the Foundation establishment cultivator, whose body trembled uncontrollably as he vomited blood. Following that, his mind swayed, he died a spiritual death, his aura extinguished, and his face full of unwillingness as he fell from mid-air. Who is this woman? She killed a Foundation establishment great cultivator with a single strike. No wonder Lu Changxing entrusted the Red Leaf Valley market to his daughter Lu Wangshu. It turns out there is such a powerful cultivator stationed here. Everyone who saw this scene was stunned. No one expected that the white-robed woman accompanying Lu Wangshu would be so fierce. To think she killed a Foundation establishment cultivator with a single palm strike. Is this the power of a true inheritance from the immortal sects? Lu Yuanzhong, Lu Muping upon recognizing Xiaoxiu's identity and seeing her in midair were shocked. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12-17. Lu Qingze, Lu Qingyan and others looked at Xiaoxia, unable to suppress their curiosity about the relationship between this person and their father. In charge of the marketplace affairs all this time, they were completely unaware of such a powerful individual in the marketplace. Upon witnessing this scene, Lu Wangshu's lips pursed lightly, she then continuously formed gesture incantations with both hands, and as she gently parted her red lips she uttered, 99 mystical talismans, divine phoenix. Screech. A piercing screech resounded between heaven and earth. All the talismans around Lu Wangshu fused into one, transforming into a golden phoenix bathed in crimson dawn light. This phoenix was an impressive 10 feet tall, its golden light flowing and burning fiercely with flames, making Lu Wangshu's glowing and elegantly curved body look sacred, noble and indescribably beautiful. Die. Lu Wangshu's fingers came together as she pointed them towards the remaining 3 people, her eyes cold and hard. Suddenly the divine phoenix let out a screech, igniting the world in fire. A swath of flames engulfed the 3 people who were already suppressed by the golden barrier. I refuse to accept this. Upon seeing Xiaoxia take action, the 3 were already in despair, realizing that there was no escaping death today. Now, faced with the divine phoenix, they cried out in sorrow, filled with endless regret. Had they chosen to flee immediately, they could have escaped unharmed. Even in the midst of battle, there was still a chance to run away. But they never imagined that Lu Wangshu, a mere initial stage Foundation establishment cultivator, would display such astonishing tactics, leading them to a hopeless end. A moment later, the divine phoenix and the firelight vanished between heaven and earth. The corpses of the 5 robber cultivators fell from the sky. The bodies of 3 among them were charred black. Once touched by the breeze during their descent, nothing was left but their magical robes, magic artifacts and remains. Such methods, they're simply too. Blue Lake Mountain Lu Wangshu, this woman's combat power, I'm afraid it's not weaker than that of a Foundation establishment peak cultivator, right? It still depends on the situation. If it's a surprise attack or if she's attacked before her talisman formation is set, she's just an ordinary Foundation establishment cultivator. First there was Lu Pingan, now there's another Lu Wangshu. No, initially Lu Pingan only managed to repel a Foundation establishment mid-stage elder from the Tao family, but this Lu Wangshu faced 1 against 5, killing 5 Foundation establishment cultivators. Back when Lu Changxing had just broken through Foundation establishment, he used talisman formation to defeat 3 members of the Yu family and establish the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family, but now his daughter has alone killed 5 Foundation establishment cultivators. With such children, who can halt the rise of Blue Lake Mountain Lu family? All those who saw Lu Wangshu in the sky were in a trance, unsure of what to say. Expressions of shock, surprise, envy and jealousy emerged on their faces. They were astounded and envious that Lu Changxing had 2 such extraordinarily talented children, Lu Pingan and Lu Wangshu. Either of these 2 could lead a family to prosperity for 100 years, advancing the family another step forward. And now the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family had both of them at the same time. However, people like Lu Yuanzhong and Lu Muping who knew Lu Qingshan were even more astonished and envious. I'm afraid even Qingshan wouldn't be a match for this woman if they fought? Lu Yuanzhong murmured to himself, filled with incredulity. He never thought that besides Lu Qingshan, Lu Changxing had another such brilliantly talented daughter. And moreover, she was cultivated by himself and not sent to the immortal sects. But seeing Xianxia beside Lu Wangshu, enveloped in a layer of hazy lunar glow, his mind became at ease. After all, Lu Wangshu not only had Lu Changxing as a father but also had Xianxia as a mother. Huff. Lu Wangshu let out a long breath, her face slightly pale. This battle was her first true fight. As a result, she used too much force, which led to significant energy consumption. However, seeing the outcome of the battle, a slight smile appeared on Lu Wangshu's delicate face. Wangshu, I'll take these corpses back with me and then have the enforcement hall investigate later, said Xianxia to Lu Wangshu through a message. The sudden appearance of these 6 Foundation establishment cultivators was clearly a targeted act by other forces. Regardless of which force was responsible, since they dared to disguise as robber cultivators and perform such acts in public, Qingyun sect had the right to investigate. However, under normal circumstances, if the matter wasn't too serious, Qingyun sect wouldn't spend time and effort on it. But since she was a true disciple and the direct heir of the enforcement hall master, if she wanted to investigate the matter, the enforcement hall would naturally give face. I burnt the corpses to a crisp, that won't be a problem, will it? Lu Wangshu was momentarily stunned upon hearing this. She had been somewhat nervous during the fight. Therefore she didn't hold back and the last 3 were almost reduced to ashes. It's okay, these 3 are enough, Xianxia replied softly. She hadn't reminded her daughter earlier because she didn't want to impact her performance, which might have led her to be shackled. Immediately after, the 2 of them cleaned up the battlefield and returned to the entrance of the marketplace. The cultivators at the scene looked at the 2 of them with respect and awe, unconsciously clearing a path for them. Qingzi, Qingyan, cousin Muping, I'll leave the cleanup here to you, said Lu Wangshu with a smile. After such an event in the marketplace, it was definitely necessary to manage the aftermath and reassure the public. But like her father, Lu Changxing, she didn't particularly like dealing with daily trivialities. Okay, replied Lu Qingzi and Lu Qingyan, still immersed in the aftermath of the battle, somewhat dazed as they nodded. Wangshu, you have worked hard, well take it from here, said Lu Muping, taking a deep breath and nodding. He then rose into the air and addressing the crowd he said, Fellow Taoists, I apologize for today's incident at the marketplace. We have wasted your time. Search * the novel, ire. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. At that moment, after exchanging a few words with Lu Miaoge also stepped forward, using a voice amplification technique and said, as compensation, next year our Blue Lake Mountain Lu family will offer a genuine Foundation establishment elixir for auction again in the Red Leaf Valley market. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12:18. If any Taoist friends possess the materials for Foundation establishment elixirs, our Blue Lake Mountain Lu family also welcomes you to come and refine Foundation establishment elixirs. Our Blue Lake Mountain Lu family has always adhered to a policy of cooperation and shared prosperity. Our family's commercial association is in the preliminary stages of formation. If any Taoist friends have ideas, you are welcome to come to Red Leaf Valley Market or Blue Lake Mountain to discuss potential collaborations. As a collaborator, should our Blue Lake Mountain have Foundation establishment elixirs in the future, we will prioritize supplying them to our internal partners. Lu Miaoge spoke out loud. In her speech, she continued to express her family's stance, unwilling to make enemies with other family forces. She hoped to cooperate with all forces in harmony and prosperity, to work together and shoulder to shoulder in cultivating a magnificent future. The recent ambush by robber cultivators had made Lu Miaoge and Li Xingruo realize that the forces targeting them were not simple. Otherwise, it would be impossible for there to be 6 Foundation establishment cultivators. Faced with this situation, their Blue Lake Mountain Lu family naturally could not rely solely on strength to subdue everyone. They still needed to attract more cooperative partners. It's not about making these forces pledge allegiance to Blue Lake Mountain. But the attitude was clear. As long as one is willing to form a good relationship, benefits would follow. If one were to act against us in the shadows, our Blue Lake Mountain is not to be trifled with either. Xianxia the Nell Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. What? A genuine Foundation Establishment elixir. Hiss, Blue Lake Mountain just auctioned a subpar Foundation Establishment elixir, and now they're releasing another one next year. Prioritizing internal partners for supply. The Lu ancestor is generous. Blue Lake Mountain is magnanimous. Many cultivators, upon hearing this, were immediately excited and spoke out loud. And some loose cultivators, deep in thought, pondered whether if they were to join Blue Lake Mountain, there might be a chance to obtain a Foundation Establishment elixir. Foundation Establishment elixir. All parties, upon hearing this, not only felt tempted but also discerned additional implications in the words spoken. It might be that Blue Lake Mountain is not currently in dire need of Foundation Establishment elixirs. Lu Miaoga was representing Blue Lake Mountain, actively extending goodwill to the outside world. Just at this moment, Lu Miaoga felt a premonition, and a yin-yang sensing talisman appeared in her hand. This is, Flower Fruit Mountain has been attacked. Lu Miaoga, seeing the signal from Flower Fruit Mountain, slightly furrowed her brows. She immediately realized that some forces were taking advantage of the current situation to make a move against Flower Fruit Mountain. Lady Lu. At this time, several Foundation Establishment ancestors stepped forward, wanting to inquire with Lu Miaoga about cooperation with the Commercial Association. I have some matters to attend to. In a few days, my Blue Lake Mountain will hold a Foundation Establishment ceremony for my daughter Wangshu. If Taoist friends wish to discuss cooperation with the Commercial Association, you may come to Blue Lake Mountain at that time for a detailed conversation. Lu Miaoga spoke apologetically. She was not very clear about the details of Commercial Association cooperation and needed Lu Xingyang and others to determine the specifics. Moreover, seeing the distress call from Flower Fruit Mountain, she had to rush over to see the situation. Very well, I will surely attend at that time, said an eager elder. Lady Lu is blessed with a daughter like Wangshu, truly a matter for celebration. With Miss Wangshu's stunning talent, her future is boundless, and a golden core is to be expected. The Foundation Establishment ancestors present, regardless of their private thoughts, all stepped forward to offer congratulations and spoke kind words. As for the recent robber cultivator incident, it also gradually faded from focus with the news announced by Lu Miaoga. Miaoga, if you were to go alone, there could be danger on the way. I will accompany you. Lu Yuanzhong, hearing that Lu Miaoga was heading to Flower Fruit Mountain, immediately spoke up. Danger. Lu Miaoga, upon hearing his words, paused for a moment in her heart. She had third-rank talismans and second-rank puppets in her possession, along with the golden armor being mother, fearing no common Foundation Establishment adversaries. But Lu Yuanzhong's words still made her more cautious. Uncle, please watch over father here. I will go ask Xiyu to come with me. After some thought, Lu Miaoga spoke out. She then found Xianxia and explained her intentions. All right. Xianxia, hearing this, glanced at her daughter and nodded slightly. Soon after, the two women disguised themselves and quietly left the Red Leaf Valley Market, heading toward Flower Fruit Mountain. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1219, Flower Fruit Mountain. Boom boom boom. At this moment, 3 Foundation Establishment cultivators are continuously bombarding the Great Formation around Flower Fruit Mountain, causing the Array Formation spiritual light to flicker wildly, alternately bright and dim, generating loud explosive sounds. Damn it. Lu Qingchuan's expression is tense as he fully oversees the Great Formation of Flower Fruit Mountain, watching the 3 cultivators outside who are attacking the formation. Through their prohibition-breaking talismans and forbidden-breaking artifacts, he realized that the 3 had been plotting for a long time and were not merely ordinary robber cultivators, but rather targeting a specific power of his family. Because ordinary robber cultivators wouldn't spend so many prohibition-breaking talismans, nor prepare forbidden-breaking artifacts. Red Leaf Valley Market is currently holding an auction, and this attack clearly came prepared. Even if I send a message home, I estimate it won't be soon enough for my father and aunt to come to our aid. Moreover, while I am under attack here, White Tiger Mountain might be under attack too, and currently only Qing Song is stationed there, which could be even more dangerous. Lu Qingxian is continuously pondering in his heart, feeling that he cannot just sit and wait for death, and must take the initiative to strike. 1 middle stage foundation establishment, 2 initial stage foundation establishments. Relying on talismans, thunder, fire, mysterious lotus, can I repel the 3 of them? Lu Qingxian continues to calculate in his heart. Although he is only at the 2nd level of foundation establishment. But with a flawless Tao foundation and possessing the pseudo-divine ability, thunder, fire, mysterious lotus, he is confident in battling against a middle stage foundation establishment cultivator, even potentially killing the opponent. However, facing 3 foundation establishment cultivators, he isn't very confident. Although he can escape using the substitute talisman given by his father if defeated. But if he were defeated, the 2nd-rank Great Formation of Flower Fruit Mountain, without the administration of a foundation establishment cultivator, would not last long. Boom boom boom, the Great Formation of Flower Fruit Mountain rumbles under the bombardment. Whenever a prohibition-breaking talisman is used, the formation creates a loud noise, the spiritual light dims, causing rolling layers of misty fog. The 3 foundation establishment cultivators not only came well prepared, among them, a thinly built, masked elder at the mid-stage of foundation establishment also understands formations, constantly seeking weak points in the Great Formation while bombarding. No, we can't keep dragging this out. If support from my family doesn't arrive in time, continuing to drag this on will only become more and more dangerous. Lu Qingchuan's whole Bodish Qi is linked with the Great Formation, his internal Qi, blood and mana surging violently. Realizing that if he doesn't get support and once the formation breaks he will also be too weak to fight back. Sister Ye, Qingyu, you manage the formation switch from defense to offense, I'm going out to try and deal with them. Lu Qingxian, with a solemn expression and the thunder fire flames rising in the depths of his pupils, speaks gravely, ready to leave the formation to fight. With a 2nd-rank talisman and the pseudo-divine ability thunder fire mysterious lotus, even if he can't defeat the 3 he can make them pay a heavy price. Then even if the 3 don't retreat they won't have the strength to break the formation. Qingxian, as long as father and aunt arrive, the crisis will be resolved by itself. If you go out now more harm will come than good. Lu Xiaoya hearing this hurriedly said. Sister Ye, these 3 clearly came prepared, our family is currently holding an auction at Red Leaf Valley Market, and they might be tied up there, unable to come in time. Moreover, White Tiger Mountain might also be under attack at this time, so dragging this out will only become more and more dangerous. Lu Qingxian immediately shook his head, sharing his speculations. This. Lu Xiaoya hearing this clenched her teeth tightly, knowing indeed as Lu Qingxian had said, but still exclaimed, Qingxian, there are 3 of them outside if you. Lu Qingxian did not wait for Lu Xiaoya to finish speaking confidently and firmly, don't worry if I go all out, I'm confident I can take down 1 or 2 of them. And with the life-saving talismans from father, I won't have any danger. Even though he didn't really have this confidence deep down. But at this moment he must display a strong sense of confidence. Brother Qingxian, I'll be with you, assisting you in the battle. Lu Qingyu hearing this slightly clenched his teeth and said. He is only at 8th level energy refinement. But he has 3 2nd-rank talismans in hand. And Flower Fruit Mountain also has 1 2nd-rank puppet. No, you stay here to guard in case there are other forces spies at home. Lu Qingxian shook his head in refusal. Sar the Novelier. N.T. website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Apart from their siblings, Flower Fruit Mountain also had recruited guest elders and laborers of spirit plants. Among these people they couldn't be sure if there were cultivators harboring malice, secretly planted by other forces. Thus, a constant alertness was necessary. Of course, in his opinion, this brother, only at 8th level energy refinement, facing foundation establishment cultivators, even assisting in the battle would be quite dangerous. Having said that, Lu Qingxian handed the array plate to Lu Xiaoya, his life-bound spiritual artifact, the Thunderfire scepter appearing in hand. Swoosh! He, holding the purple-red Thunderfire scepter, with his magical robe billowing, surged out of the great formation of Flower Fruit Mountain. Oh. There's a way to heaven yet you don't go, there's no door to hell yet you intrude. Since you want to throw your life away we will fulfill your wish. The 3, seeing Lu Qingxian charging out of the formation, instantly had looks of doubt, surprise and delight in their eyes. They did not expect Lu Qingxian to take the initiative to come out of the formation. If Lu Qingxian hadn't come out, they would still need to spend a lot of time and effort to break the formation. However, seeing a junior at Foundation establishment daring to face the three of them, a few notes of irritation also surged in their hearts. Thinking that he was completely disregarding their presence. Thunder Fire 9 Arts, Thunder Fire Dragon. Lu Qingxian did not speak, his expression resolute, with his purple-red scepter emitting thunder arcs continuously flashing. The surging mana caused the treasure bead on the top of the scepter to emit rolling, intense flames. Roar! Accompanied by the spread of thunder and fire, a terrifying Thunder Fire Dragon formed at the top of the scepter appeared, roaring towards the sky, charging at the three of them. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1220, Humph, do you really think everyone from Bai Lake Mountain is like Lu Pingon? If it wasn't for Lu Qingsong holding a talisman treasure and having a second-order spiritual beast, how could Lu Pingon be so arrogant back then? The three of them immediately redirected their offensive towards Lu Qingxian, their might surging and their killing intent piercing. Boom boom boom. The collision of mana from both sides swiftly suppressed Lu Qingchuan's Thunder Fire Flood Dragon under the trio's assault. Buzz. Just then, the spiritual light surged within the great formation at Flower Fruit Mountain. The formation's azure light flowed, with faint purple glows wriggling like little snakes, forming a ring of light, pressing down towards the three attackers. Heavenly Thunder, Earth Fire. Lu Qingxian coldly shouted, frantically channeling mana into his Thunderfire scepter, creating infinite fierce flames around him while bolts of thunder streaked towards the trio. This kid is only at the early stage of Foundation establishment, how can he possess such fighting power? His cultivation technique is not simple, definitely not an ordinary one. Where did Lu Changxing get such a cultivation technique inheritance? Wasn't he only supposed to have talisman path inheritance? After a brief exchange of blows, the three were astonished by Lu Qingchuan's combat strength. It is known that all three of them come from the Jinlong Ridge gene family, practicing exquisite level cultivation methods. Their strength far surpasses that of small family forces or average loose cultivators at Foundation establishment. Yet now, the trio found themselves unable to instantly suppress Lu Qingxian. Even the masked elder thought that if he battled Lu Qingxian singly, he wasn't completely confident of killing him. Bai Lake Mountain indeed still has many secrets, this child must not be spared. As long as we kill this child, even if we can't break open Monkey Hill and destroy the Spirit Fruit ley lines, it will still be a heavy blow to Bai Lake Mountain. The three exchanged a glance, their expressions grave, all unreservedly unleashing their killing moves. Buzz buzz buzz, a golden bowl magic artifact erupted in dazzling golden light, enveloping Lu Qingxian and making his whole body suddenly heavy. At the same time, a fierce flash of golden light appeared. In the midst of the golden light, it seemed as if a dragon claw was fiercely attacking Lu Qingxian. Not good. Lu Qingxian immediately sensed a dangerous aura from the golden dragon claw and shook his Thunderfire scepter in hand. Buzz buzz buzz, thunder light surged, forming a wall of thunder in front of the dragon claw. Crack. But in an instant, cracks appeared in the wall of thunder. This spiritual artifact is specifically designed against body-protecting magic barriers. Lu Qingxian immediately realized the extraordinary nature of this Dragon Claw spiritual artifact and quickly took out a second-order Supreme Talisman, the Golden Light Indestructible Talisman, from his storage bag. In an instant, an oval, impenetrable light of golden light emerged, protecting him within as if flowing with an undying luster. Clang! The golden dragon claw struck the golden light, resulting in a sound of metal clashing. A second-tier top-grade talisman, Lu Changxing really is quite wealthy. The trio, seeing the golden protective light flowing around Lu Qingxian, immediately recognized it as a second-order top-level talisman. Otherwise, their high-quality spiritual artifact, designed to specifically break through defensive magic barriers, cannot be blocked by ordinary techniques. Kill? The three did not think too much. They all performed hand gestures for incantation and continued their onslaught toward Lu Qingxian with formidable and domineering vigor. Qingxian. In Flower Fruit Mountain, Lu Xiaoya and others saw the situation, saw Lu Qingxian at a disadvantage, and shouted with some concern, signaling him to quickly return to the protective formation. It won't work, even the Golden Light Indestructible Talisman can only withstand a few hits. Since that's the case, let's fight with all we've got. Lu Qingxian slightly gritted his teeth, gripping a second-order top-grade talisman in his sleeve. He then tossed the Thunderfire scepter in his hand, performed gesture incantation with both hands, and the scepter danced wildly, filled with rolling thunder and flames. Thunderfire seals the heavens. Endless thunder and fire rolled and spread, like a hurricane sweeping through, tumultuous and violent, completely shrouding Lu Qingxian. Second-order top-grade talisman, unfounded Thunderfire talisman. Lu Qingxian took advantage of the brief gap to activate an attack talisman, creating rolling heavenly thunder and earth fire, targeting the weakest foundation establishment cultivator among the three. He knew that he had to break through them one by one now. As long as he killed one of them, he could alleviate his own dire situation. Not good, this kid still has a second-order top-grade talisman. Just how many talismans did Lu Changxing give them? Be careful, do not be negligent. The three, seeing the sudden onslaught of heavenly thunder and earth fire, were all startled and promptly shifted from offense to defense, summoning their magic artifacts to form a majestic body-protecting spiritual light. Boom boom boom. The incessant thunder and fire bombarded the three's protective spiritual light, making the heavens and earth aglow with blinding light and lightning. Lu Qingxian looked at this scene with a trace of fierceness in his eyes, then suddenly extended both hands, his chi ocean core mana boiling and surging. Rumble. Thunderous roars exploded in the void. On his left hand, a terrifying and violent purple thunder arced and surged. On his right hand, a scorching and overbearing red flame rose and spread. Thunderfire. Mysterious lotus. Lu Qingchuan's body surged with mana, slowly gathering the thunder and flame in his hands, displaying a divine skill he had never used in actual combat before. Buzz buzz buzz. The moment thunder and flames touched, a terrifying energy burst forth, making the void seem to twist. CTH Novel Fire. Any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Qingchuan's mana crazily surged, his face veins bulging as he pushed this divine skill to its limit. At this juncture, it's either they die or he dies. After all, he has this substitute talisman. In a life-or-death crisis, he could escape with his life. With that being the case, what is there to fear? Today, I will make a name for myself. A surge of pride erupted in Lu Qingchuan's heart, determined, his hands continuously forming gestures, causing the two wildly violent energies to slowly merge. This was the first time he had pushed this divine skill to the extreme, his hands splitting and bleeding from the energy leaking from the Thunderfire mysterious lotus. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1221. Lu Qingxian bore the intense pain in his palm as he concentrated two streams of power into a palm-sized dark red lotus seat, with thunderous arcs of electricity weaving around it. CTH Novel F. IR. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. What kind of technique is this? The kid is getting desperate, fall back. At this moment, three people dissolved the Thunderfire unwarranted talisman's endless Thunderfire, ready to continue their pursuit of Lu Qingxian. However, the lead cultivator at the middle stage of Foundation establishment sensed an incredibly dangerous aura from the dark red flame in Lu Qingchuan's hand, causing him to shudder in horror and fear. Realizing that Lu Qingxian was employing some kind of secret technique, a move out of sheer desperation, they wanted to dodge its sharp edge. Swish swish swish. The other two also realized something was amiss and immediately transformed into beams of escape light, trying to avoid the imminent danger. Thinking of escaping now, it's too late. Lu Qingchuan's resolute and handsome face, illuminated by the dark red fire lotus and ghastly pale, looked at the three people with a sneer, then fiercely flung the dark red lotus seed in his hand at the distant trio. Swish! The dark red lotus seed, fused with thunder and flames, silently cut through the void, making no sound as it traveled. Yet it made the three fleeing cultivators' hair stand on end, chilled to the bone, feeling as if a terrifying force full of destructive energy had locked onto them. The lotus seat rapidly shot towards the center of the three, and the calm dark red lotus seat suddenly became violently turbulent, then explosively expanded. Boom! An earth-shattering, deafening explosion resounded. The palm-sized dark red lotus seat swelled madly, a surge of violent and destructive energy burst forth at visible speed, tearing into all directions like roaring serpents, seeking the three cultivators fleeing in escape light. Whoosh whoosh whoosh! The dark red lightning flames swept across the sky, causing the temperature of the surrounding environment to rise rapidly. Inside Flower Fruit Mountain, Lu Xiaoya, Lu Qingyu, and all the others watched with shock and bewilderment as the terrifying wave of fire washed over the sky. It was too horrifying. The might was simply too terrifying. It didn't seem like something an initial stage of Foundation Establishment cultivator could do. The second-ranked Great Formation of Flower Fruit Mountain flickered crazily with spiritual light under the aftershocks of this mana, as mist permeated the air. Ah, damn it, what kind of technique is this? Chapter 1222, Golden Dragon Ridge. At this moment, Golden Dragon Ridge is on full alert. Suddenly, an elder with torn robes, a pale face, and a back split open revealing stark white bones fell from above. Sixth Elder, what happened to you? A patrolling member of the Jin family immediately recognized the elder and cried out in shock. Hurry! Send a message to the Patriarch, there's a big secret at by Lake Mountain, the Lu child, the elder said weakly with a ghastly pale face. But before he could finish, he violently spat out a mouthful of scorching, black blood and passed out. Sixth Elder. The Jin family member did not dare to move the Sixth Elder, fearing it would worsen his injury, and quickly sent a message to the Patriarch. A moment later, the Patriarch of the Jin family arrived with several people. What on earth happened? Seeing the elder with charred flesh, bleeding profusely and extremely weak breath, he hurried forward, his expression grief-stricken. Not long ago, through the soul plate, he was aware that 2 Foundation Establishment elders of the family had perished, suspecting there was an ambush at Flower Fruit Mountain, so he directly ordered the family to go into alert mode. Unexpectedly, the only surviving 6th elder was also injured to such an extent. Patriarch, the 6th elder only said something about a big secret at by Lake Mountain, but he passed out before he could finish his sentence. The nearby Jin family member immediately reported, his expression filled with fear, not understanding what had happened. By Lake Mountain, this time both the Yuan family and the Sima family made moves against Red Leaf Valley Market. How could By Lake Mountain still have the strength to set up an ambush at Flower Fruit Mountain? The Patriarch of the Jin family's face turned extremely unsightly upon hearing this. Concerned about his own 6th elder's injury, he didn't dare to hesitate, took out a bottle of spiritual liquid from his storage bag, poured it on the 6th elder's wounds to stabilize the situation, and then brought him into the Golden Dragon Ridge for treatment. Patriarch, judging by the 6th elder's condition, even if he wakes up, his lifespan won't be much longer. After examining the 6th elder's condition, the doctor began treatment and spoke solemnly. This 6th elder was over 140 years old. With such serious injuries, even if he recovers, he would have at most 10 years to live. That too only if he avoids fighting. If he were to fight again, he might not live past 3 to 5 years. Ah, why? The Patriarch of the Jin family, upon hearing this, clenched his fists tightly and couldn't help but let out a sorrowful roar, his face full of unwillingness. These 10 years have seen the Jin family's rise and fall. Firstly, the family birthed a second false core Immortal, leading the family to an unprecedented peak. But before they could even rejoice, the family patriarch was inexplicably killed by the heretic cultivator at Huji Ridge, causing a severe blow to the family's vitality. Now, just as the family was starting to recover some vitality, they lost 2 Foundation Establishment cultivators and had another half crippled. This situation was a heavy blow to the Jin family. Without 3 to 5 decades they might not recover. The ambush at By Lake Mountain might target our Golden Dragon Ridge. This must be reported to the Patriarch. A while later, the Jin family patriarch muttered to himself. Xia the novel, F.I.R. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. They had even considered asking the Patriarch to assassinate Lu Changxing before. But considering the Patriarch's divine skills and unfinished magical treasures, there was a great risk in killing Lu Changxing, so they did not divulge the family's plan to Jin Zan. However, now with the plan having failed and the family suffering a severe setback, he had no choice but to inform the Patriarch. Meanwhile, Lu Miaoga and Xianxia hurried to Flower Fruit Mountain. When they learned that Lu Qingxian single-handedly killed 3 Foundation Establishment cultivators, they were both surprised and incredulous. What happened? It was only previously that Lu Wangshu alone subdued 5 robber cultivators at Foundation Establishment. Now is Lu Qingxian also single-handedly defeating 3 Foundation Establishment robber cultivators? Are their children all so outstanding? Thunder Fire Lotus Seat? Lu Miaoge, upon hearing Lu Xiaoya's rough description, guessed it might be one of the methods that her husband gave to their son. After all, Lu Changxing often provides their children with treasures for self-protection. Even though they were not clear about the specific situations or combat abilities of these children at home. Just as previously when Lu Wangshu faced 5 robber cultivators at Foundation establishment. Lu Miaoge and Xianxia actually did not know the exact combat strength of this daughter, nor how many talismans and third-rank talismans she had in her storage bag. The two did not ask further and together with Lu Xiaoya went to a courtyard. Lu Miaoge and Lu Xiaoya entered the room and saw Lu Qingxian on the bed, pale and weak. Qingxian greets auntie. Seeing Lu Miaoge, Lu Qingxian hurriedly got up to pay his respects. Qingxian rest well. Lu Miaoge had little contact with this son. But as the lady of the Lu family, she was gentle and generous towards all her children. Then with a light lift of her hand, she began healing Lu Qingxian with Tai True water. During the process she noticed that Lu Qingchuan's mana was exhausted, and his physical body, meridians and dantian were in an overloaded state. Seemingly, he had executed a technique far beyond what his current state could bear. If not properly recuperated, it could even impact his foundation. Auntie, I acted somewhat rashly. Miaoge noticed the slight frown on Lu Miaoge's face and spoke up immediately. He explained that he had deduced the 3 cultivators had come prepared, so he suspected that Red Leaf Valley Market and White Tiger Mountain might also have been attacked. That's why he did not wait for reinforcements. Your guess is not wrong. Indeed, other powers targeted us this time. Lu Miaoge shook her head slightly, not blaming Lu Qingxian. Although White Tiger Mountain was not attacked, the simultaneous appearance of robber cultivators at Red Leaf Valley Market and Flower Fruit Mountain was clearly orchestrated by some power. She suspected that she and Xianxia did not encounter any assault on their way because the crises at Red Leaf Valley Market and Flower Fruit Mountain were resolved, prompting the enemy to abandon the ambush. After treating Lu Qingxian, Lu Miaoge and Xianxia went to scout the situation outside Flower Fruit Mountain. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1223, Under the Onslaught of the Thunder Fire Mysterious Lotus, 2 cultivators in the early stages of Foundation establishment turned to ashes along with their flesh, magic artifacts, magical robes and storage bags. However, from the subtle clues, the 2 women could tell there were signs of only 2 bodies, meaning one person must have escaped. 9 Foundation establishment cultivators, this definitely isn't the work of a single power. Lu Miaoge's eyebrows slightly furrowed as she spoke in a low voice. Even a false core stage family wouldn't be able to dispatch 9 Foundation establishment cultivators all at once. Therefore it's more likely that multiple powers acted. Or perhaps, some power spent a fortune to hire robber cultivators and loose cultivators to take action. I will have people investigate after I return to the sect. Xiaoxia's visage and body were shrouded in a hazy glow, and she seemed like a bright moon, cold and holy. Shiyu, thank you for your trouble. Lu Miaoge said earnestly. If this incident could prompt the Qingyun sect to act and gather some information, it would serve as a significant deterrent. It's no trouble. Xiaoxia's voice was calm and indifferent. Although she did not have any aversion to Lu Miaoge, and even felt somewhat close to her. But unless she was facing Lu Changxing or Lu Wangshu, she couldn't help but radiate an aloof aura that kept others at a distance. As Lu Qingxian was presently weak, the 2 women did not leave immediately. Lu Miaoge sent a message home, hoping that Xia Zizhu or Li Xingyu could come and oversee Flower Fruit Mountain for a while. By Lake Mountain, Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Red Leaf Valley Market suffered an attack by 6 robber cultivators. Flower Fruit Mountain encountered an attack by 3 robber cultivators. In the Changxing Hall, Lu Changxing's eyes narrowed slightly as he listened to Lu Miaoge's words. He didn't expect that his family's auction would provoke such a commotion. He glanced at the white golden cocoon on the bed, continuously absorbing nature's spiritual energy, and after pondering for a moment he stepped out of Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven with Lu Miaoyun. He later led Xia Zizhu silently away from By Lake Mountain to Flower Fruit Mountain. Changxing, you've come. Lu Miaoge and Xiaoxia didn't expect Lu Changxing to arrive so quickly. They thought to themselves, is this the travel speed of a nascent soul immortal? Search * the Nephire. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Shiyu, Sister Miaoge, Lu Changxing had just sensed Xianxia with his divine sense, so he wasn't surprised and asked about the specific situation of Red Leaf Valley Market and Flower Fruit Mountain. After hearing that Xianxia would take the bodies of the three to the Qingyun sect to request an investigation from the enforcement hall, Lu Changxing immediately said softly, "Xiyu, thanks for your trouble." "It's nothing." Xiaoxia's usually cold eyes appeared much softer at this moment. Then Lu Changxing went to a courtyard to visit his son Lu Qingxian. "Father." Lu Qingxian in the room heard the noise, and was surprised to see Lu Changxing, getting up in a hurry like a child who had done something wrong, and quickly paid his respects. "You shouldn't be moving around with your injuries." Lu Changxing's palm lifted slightly, and an invisible mana force made him lie down, saying gently, "The situation here has been made known to me. You did very well." Although at that time, Lu Qingxian could have just defended himself using the Great Formation and awaited reinforcements. But his decision then was not wrong either. In the midst of speaking, Lu Changxing stepped forward to check on Lu Qingchuan's injuries. Knowing that his son's exhaustion resulted from deploying the Thunder Fire Mysterious Lotus, leading to mana exhaustion and physical burden. He took out several bottles of elixir medicines from his storage ring and handed them over. "Thank you, father." Lu Qingxian felt relieved. Perhaps it was his mother's teaching when he was young, or the seldom interaction with his father, but he always felt there was an imposing aura about his father. He was also somewhat worried that his own actions might displease his father. "In the future you should focus on recovering at home and must not use mana. Your Aunt Jiue will take care of things here at Flower Fruit Mountain." Lu Changxing spoke. Although Xia Zizhu's combat power was weak, overseeing the Great Formation's operation shouldn't be a problem. If there was any issue they just had to message him right away. "Yes, father." Lu Qingxian nodded and complied. After that, Lu Changxing asked about the techniques, magic artifacts of the three, and then returned to Red Leaf Valley Market with Lu Miaoge and Xiaoxia. "Dad, Mom." Lu Wangshu was surprised to see Lu Changxing's arrival. But soon she expressed with a wronged expression how hard this battle had been for her. Lu Changxing glanced at his daughter, seeing that it was just an excessive drain of her energy, and reassured her that a few days of rest would suffice. But thinking of his daughter's diligent efforts in Red Leaf Valley Market for the last few months, he still uttered a few words of comfort. "Wangshu, you will send Jiuyo back to White Tiger Mountain later." Lu Changxing uttered with slight contemplation. Originally, White Tiger Mountain and Flower Fruit Mountain could support each other immediately. But now, only Lu Qingsong was holding down White Tiger Mountain and dared not leave lightly. If they had the 9 Netherhound with them it would be much better. "Alright, Daddy, I can go to White Tiger Mountain to oversee things." Hearing that Flower Fruit Mountain had also been attacked, Lu Wangshu knew that her father was not in a good mood, so she agreed obediently and even volunteered. "Good Wangshu, thank you for your hard work." Lu Changxing lovingly stroked his daughter's hair, thinking that she was sensible after all. Then Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoge went to visit Lu Yuanding. "Dad, Mom." Lu Yuanding was resting, his siblings Lu Qingxi and Lu Qingxian were accompanying their grandfather. Lu Yuanding was a light sleeper, and as he heard the commotion he opened his cloudy eyes, his voice old and slow. "Changxing, you've come, father-in-law." Lu Changxing could clearly see the fading life force of his father-in-law Lu Yuanding and feared that he might not last more than a few days. "Don't be sad. Seeing the grandeur of Red Leaf Valley Market like this, I have no regrets." Lu Yuanding noticed Lu Changxing's solemn expression, and managed to squeeze out a smile on his wrinkled, liver-spotted face, showing a calm acceptance of his own death. After speaking as if struck by a sudden thought, Lu Yuanding looked towards Lu Miaoge and said softly, "Miaoge, I wish to return home back to Qingzhou Mountain. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1224. Lu Miaoge's heart trembled violently upon hearing these words. She had been attending to her father's physical body for these past few days, well aware that he was in a state of utter fatigue. The words he spoke now clearly conveyed his desire to return to his roots and die on Qingzhou Mountain. "Miaoge, your dad has lived to a ripe old age, and seeing you and Changxing achieve so much, I have no regrets." Lu Yuanding's aged face had a tinge of red glow as he spoke to his daughter. "Alright, let's go home, Xian'er Chair, let's accompany Grandpa back home." Lu Changxing took a deep breath and nodded. Although he was still concerned about Bai Ling back home, he was ready to accompany his father-in-law Lu Yuanding on his final journey. The next day, the news about the incident in Red Leaf Valley Market, where the daughter of the master of Bihu Mountain, Lu Changxing, had slain 5 Foundation establishment robber cultivators, quickly spread among all nearby family forces and continued to ferment, spreading throughout the entire Qingyun region. The news was astonishing. For an average Foundation establishment cultivator, being able to overpower those of higher cultivation levels or fight against multiple opponents would already be remarkable. Yet Lu Wangshu managed to kill 5 Foundation establishment cultivators at the early stage of Foundation establishment, which was simply unbelievable. How could someone at the early stage of Foundation establishment kill 5 Foundation establishment cultivators? That's impossible. If you said he was at the late stage of Foundation establishment killing 5 at the early stage, that might make sense, but at the early stage, how could he possibly possess such strength? Exactly, what does this make other Foundation establishment cultivators look like? Punching bags? Back in the day, Lu Changxing only killed 3 Foundation establishment cultivators. Many people doubted and questioned the news when they heard it, as such a thing was too fantastical to believe. However, many witnesses observed the event that day, so quite a few people accepted it as fact. Talisman cultivator, top-tier talisman path inheritance. Drawing talismans in the void? A battle burning through hundreds of talismans, doesn't that mean it's equivalent to spending tens of thousands of spirit stones on a single fight? No wonder it was so fierce. This isn't a contest of skill, it's burning money. Those spirit stones could have been spent on hiring assassins. Master of Bihu Mountain, Lu Changxing, became famous for his talisman path in his early years. Who would have thought that after several decades, such an extraordinary successor would emerge in his house? Exactly, and each Foundation establishment cultivator requires a considerable amount of resources. Bihu Mountain's business of only spiritual fish and puppets definitely cannot support such expenses. As long as we cut off the Lu Family Commerce Association, no matter how many Foundation establishment cultivators they have in the future, they'll run out of money to cultivate them. We absolutely cannot allow Bihu Mountain to establish a successful commerce association. Instantly, many powers realize that the Lu family is still only working within their own limited domain. But once the Commerce Association is established, it may bring calamity to these family powers, leading to direct financial loss. If Lu Changxing truly possesses such a special spiritual body and has children with me, maybe this Lu Pinggan's mother is just a mortal, and Lu Qingchuan's mother was just a servant girl to Lu Changxing in his early years. As a Foundation establishment cultivator, if I become a Dao companion with Lu Changxing and bear children, many forces are thinking about stifling the Lu Family Commerce Association to hinder its development. But there are also many forces considering using this opportunity to form good relations with Bihu Mountain, marrying into a union with Lu Changxing, becoming Dao companions, and then producing several exceptionally talented children. Even if these children belong to Bihu Mountain, as long as they are properly educated, they could still favor their maternal family in the future. Apart from the shock from outside, the news of Lu Wangshu's endeavors also spread back to Bihu Mountain, startling countless Lu family disciples. They knew this sister was formidable. But they never expected her to be this formidable. All of a sudden, everyone seemed to understand why their father cherished Lu Wangshu so much. One person slaying 5 Foundation establishments. Lu Caizhen and Lu Xingqian, who had just reached Foundation establishment, were all feeling moved. They felt like trash compared to Lu Wangshu. It seems that only Ling Xiao can be compared to Sister Wangshu. Lu Xingqian thought of the time when Lu Ling Xiao had a breakthrough, and his father mentioned that he had a spiritual body pondering in his heart. I wonder, once I've raised over 10,000 iron fire ants, if he'll possess such combat power. In a courtyard, Lu Qinsha heard the news and gazed at the iron fire ants in his blood nest bag, murmuring to himself, "No wonder father had Sister Wangshu stationed at Red Leaf Valley Market." Lu Xingyang was full of feelings. When his father asked him to find his sister, Lu Wangshu, to guard Red Leaf Valley Market, he felt that this sister wasn't very reliable. Now it seems that the father had far-reaching insight and had long been aware of her strength. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1225. Lu Changxing was not too clear about the outside world's discussions, nor did he care. He had been living quietly in Jianghu Mountain these days with his wife Lu Miaoge, son Lu Qingxian, and daughter Lu Qingqi, accompanying his father-in-law on his last journey. "Daddy, if I seriously learn to draw talismans, can I be like Sister Wangshu?" Lu Qingqi had seen Lu Wangshu's capabilities in Red Leaf Valley Market and aspired to be like her. "You can ask your sister Wangshu for advice in your daily life." CTH Novel Fire. Net ** website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Changxing did not directly answer, gently stroking his daughter's hair, and spoke in a gentle voice. "I asked Sister Wangshu before and she told me to just be happy and enjoy food and drink every day, not to think too much." Lu Qingqi pouted as she spoke. Lu Changxing paused, thinking that such words could only come from Lu Wangshu. "Dad, a talisman cultivator can casually use hundreds of talismans, but once the talismans run out, doesn't that mean their strength will greatly diminish?" Lu Qingxian, who was at his side, voiced a question. He had been accompanying his grandfather Lu Yuanding at that time, so he did not witness Lu Wangshu slaying 5 robber cultivators. He only heard that this sister used up several hundred talismans in the act. "Yes, this is one of the drawbacks of being a talisman cultivator." Lu Changxing slightly nodded, explaining the strengths and weaknesses of talisman cultivators to his children. In the courtyard, Lu Yuanding lay in a recliner, looking towards Lu Changxing, clad in a green robe and handsome, talking to his children in the distance. His thoughts involuntarily drifted back to over 60 years ago, when he had brought Lu Changxing back to Jianghu Mountain from the foot of Qingyun sect. He vaguely remembered hesitating when he first heard that Lu Changxing had only a 9th grade spiritual root. Who would have thought that the country boy rejected by Qingyun sect would grow to such an extent unnoticed? Lu Yuanding's mouth curled in a faint smile, and a flurry of memories swept through his mind like flickering scenes. "Changxing." Lu Yuanding's throat bobbed, calling out hoarsely with a weak and breathless voice. "Dad." Lu Miaoge was using her mana to nourish her father's physical body at his side. But Lu Yuanding's essence, qi and spirit had already dried up, almost completely gone, rendering it useless. "Father-in-law." Lu Changxing immediately approached the old man. Even though he had experienced such farewells as the 4th elder before, his heart was still filled with complicated emotions. "Changxing." Lu Yuanding slightly lifted his hand, grasping Lu Changxing's wrist, his voice seemingly carrying a plea. "Changxing, Qingshan has exceptional talent but is too arrogant. As a father, if you see him, you need to discipline him more. Little Zhu is smart inside and out, and having her by Qingshan's side will make him restrain his nature a lot. But the two of them staying outside for long still is not as safe as being at home. Should they encounter danger or trouble, it would be a big problem. Xianxia is intelligent and steady, he can manage the household and attain greatness in the future. Chair, like Huan, is playful and mischievous, yet her thoughts are pure, requiring a lot of your paternal tolerance and protection. Now that Qing Song has established his family, I am much more at ease, but all your siblings at home are too outstanding, each holding their breath in rivalry. When you have time, you should take care and pay more attention to him," the old man muttered, his voice growing fainter and weaker, scarcely having enough strength, as if he was making final arrangements. He was very reassured about his 2 daughters. The only thing he could not let go of now was his grandsons. Lu Miaoge's eyes were red and tears streamed down her face. "Father-in-law, rest assured, I will take good care of them." Lu Changxing, upon hearing the old man's last words, felt a heavy weight on his heart, and while holding his wife's hand tightly, he spoke in earnest. "Good." The old man, upon hearing this, nodded in relief. Then he gently turned to look at his grandchildren by his side. "Xianxia, don't be too sad, you must be as outstanding as your brothers and sisters in the future." After speaking, the hand holding Lu Changxing's palm slowly loosened, and with a peaceful smile, he closed his eyes. "Dad." Overwhelmed by emotion, Lu Miaoge cried out in sorrow. Although she had always been aware of her father's condition, now that the moment truly arrived before her eyes, she found it hard to maintain her composure. "Grandfather," Lu Qingqi, who had a delicate little face, was also in sorrow, tears flowing. Lu Qingxian pursed his lips, not crying out loud, but his eyes were red. Over the years he had always been in Jianghu Mountain, very close to his grandfather Lu Yuanding. Lu Changxing silently held his wife and children. Once his wife's mood stabilized, he informed Lu Yuanzhong, intending to hold a joyous funeral for Lu Yuanding. Lu Yuanding had arranged everything in advance before his life ended, instructing that the funeral should not be elaborately conducted. Lu Miaoge chose to follow her father's last wishes. Nevertheless, given that Lu Yuanding was an elder of Qingzhou Mountain and the father of Lu Miaoge, as well as the father-in-law of Lu Changxing, the funeral was still quite grand, with many family forces voluntarily coming to pay their respects. Dad, Lu Miaohuan from Bai Lake Mountain, upon hearing the news, felt an ineffable sorrow well up within her. Lu Miaoyun, who had experienced such things before, actively comforted her cousin. After Lu Wangshu took charge of White Tiger Mountain, Lu Qingsong also immediately came to Qingzhou Mountain. Sigh. Lu Changxing, looking at the aged Lu Yuanzhong with only a few familiar faces left around from the old times of Qingzhou Mountain, sighed softly. Unknowingly, he had outlived generation after generation. Perhaps in a few decades, there would be no one left in Qingzhou Mountain that he knew in his early years. 5 days later, Lu Changxing returned to Bai Lake Mountain with his wife and children. Huan. Upon his return, he first went to visit his wife Lu Miaohuan. Without even thinking, he knew she must have been deeply grieving these days. Wu Lu Changxing. Lu Miaohuan, with her mature and gorgeous makeup, broke down like a child in his arms, crying out loud, releasing the sadness she had bottled up inside. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12:26. Mother, don't be sad, grandfather also hopes for you to be happy. Beside her, Lu Qingqi pressed her little face and held her mother's hand, speaking to comfort her. MHM. Lu Miaohuan wiped away the tear stains on her face, concealing her grief and sorrow with a gentle voice. Mother's fine. Lu Changxing sighed inwardly, quietly accompanying his wife alongside their daughter. Wow, mother, you didn't see it, Sister Wangshu whooshed and flew out so many talismans. Lu Qingqi vividly narrated the battle at Red Leaf Valley Market to her mother. She wasn't exactly admiring the might of such means, but she found them splendidly cool, especially when in the end the talismans condensed into a phoenix. Wangshu is so powerful, isn't that to say even more so than you, father, back in the day? Lu Miaohuan said with some surprise. She still remembered the time her sister broke through to Foundation Establishment, and the dashing vigor with which Lu Changxing alone vanquished the 3 Foundation Establishment members of the Yu family. The 3 from the Yu family back then were not my limit, but the Yu family's limit. Lu Changxing chuckled softly and spoke lightly. The couple had been together for many years. Naturally, he wouldn't be overly modest, still hiding things. Daddy, I heard grandfather saying that back then. Lu Qingqi suddenly voiced out, asking about the battle that took place years ago. Even though grandfather had told her about it, her interest had piqued once again. Back then? Lu Changxing held his wife and jovially recounted certain events from the past to his daughter. In the evening, during the family meal, Lu Yun came to pay his respects. He expressed that he had made up his mind and chose to cultivate the heavenly longevity technique. Good, I will arrange for it after a few days, Lu Changxing said upon hearing this. The spirit vein of Bai Yun Peak is about to be promoted to a top-grade 2nd rank. When the promotion happens, the 2 nurturing branch veins connected to it will also form alongside Bai Yun Peak's promotion, rising as 2 smaller peaks on either side of it. He had already planned and arranged for the new Heaven and Earth spiritual plant to be planted on these 2 mountains. Thank you, father, Lu Yun said respectfully after hearing this. Moments later, Lu Caizhen also came to pay her respects to Lu Changxing. Caizhen, what's the matter? Lu Changxing asked with a smile, seeing his daughter hesitate to speak. Father and daughter went to a side hall. Sarch * the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Caizhen took out a porcelain bottle from her storage bag and opened it. Inside was a Foundation Establishment elixir. Father, this is what brother left for me, and now that I have reached Foundation Establishment, so I want to give this Foundation Establishment elixir to my husband. Lu Caizhen looked at Lu Changxing, pursing her lips and spoke softly. She herself knew the rarity of a Foundation Establishment elixir. Having relied on one from home to break through Foundation Establishment, and now giving another to Hong Xuanji, seemed somewhat inappropriate. Moreover, their family is currently in the limelight, watched by many forces. If Hong Xuanji attempts Foundation Establishment, whether successful or not, it could catch the attention of others and bring about trouble. Since Chuanjin gave it to you, how to allocate this Foundation Establishment elixir is your own affair, Lu Changxing chuckled softly. He knew early on that his son Lu Chuanzhen had in his possession multiple Foundation establishment elixirs. But he didn't know that Lu Chuanzhen had given one to Lu Caizhen. However, as for giving the Foundation establishment elixir to Hong Xuanji, he had no objections. After all, the couple had been married for many years. As a father, he couldn't possibly prevent his daughter from giving it away, could he? Besides, Hong Xuanji, as his son-in-law and an old friend's son, had worked diligently in by Lake Mountain for decades with no lack of toil. You can just discuss this with Xuanji yourself. The family can provide him with a cave mansion for his breakthrough, Lu Changxing said after a slight pondering. He knew his daughter came to him not only to confess about the Foundation establishment elixir but also hoping the family could provide Hong Xuanji with a cave mansion. Otherwise, Hong Xuanji would have to go to Immortal City or Qingyun Market for his Foundation establishment attempt. But in Immortal City, Qingyun Market, the journey is long. Without connections, it's not easy to rent a cave mansion and one would need to wait in line for a long time. Thank you, father. Hearing this, Lu Caizhen's beautiful and fair face revealed a smile. If Xuanji succeeds in his Foundation establishment at this stage, unless it's a matter of life and death, he should also not reveal his Foundation establishment strength, Lu Changxing said to his daughter. While he agreed to his son-in-law's Foundation establishment, family secrets had to remain within the family. Don't worry, father, your daughter understands. Lu Caizhen knew her father agreed to this matter out of consideration for herself and her father-in-law Hong Yi, so naturally she wouldn't ask for too much. The matter of your Foundation establishment, aside from Xuanji for the time being, try not to spread it, wait a few more years and I will arrange, Lu Changxing continued to instruct. Don't worry, father. Having lived through many years, Lu Caizhen was no longer naive and fully aware of the stakes. MHM. In terms of Foundation establishment insights, you can guide Xuanji and help him prepare in advance. Lu Changxing nodded slightly with no further comments. He wasn't worried about his children leaking the details of Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Once the children divulged such family secrets, the Lu family genealogy would sense it and provide a warning. MHM, thanks, Dad. Lu Caizhen departed joyfully, feeling relieved and unburdened of her worries. I wonder how Chuanzhen is doing now. At this moment, Lu Changxing thought of his son Lu Chuanzhen. This son, not long after his Foundation establishment, went out to travel, claiming he would visit Azure Phoenix Immortal City and then go to the Jin Kingdom for experience. For over 20 years there had been no news. If it weren't for the system, Lu family genealogy, Lu Changxing would even worry that his son had met with an accident. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1227. However, through the system, Lu Changxing knew that his son's condition should be fine. His cultivation level had broken through to the 4th layer of Foundation establishment 4 years ago. Jin Kingdom. Thinking of this place, Lu Changxing took a deep breath and slowly exhaled. In his earlier years, he had thought of going directly to Jin Kingdom after reaching core formation. But now with a pile of issues at home, he couldn't leave just yet. He would have to wait until everything at home was stable and Hong Lian was in charge before he could feel at ease to head to Jin Kingdom. Jin Kingdom. Chu Changtan, you'll see where you can run to today. In a range of mountains, over 10 cultivators were in pursuit of a young man in a black robe. Leading them was a tall man with the cultivation level of the late stage of Foundation establishment. He was maneuvering a giant sword exotic treasure, constantly slashing towards the young man in the black robe, causing the mountains to rumble and ravines to form, with Xianxia rolling down. The young man in the black robe was no ordinary person either. He moved like a sky peng as fast as lightning, continuously dodging the attacks. When in mortal danger, a golden light filled with a bloodthirsty aura would shoot out, dissipating part of the offensive force against him. Whoosh! Just then the golden light suddenly turned towards the tall man wielding the giant sword exotic treasure. Umph! The tall man faced the golden light with a cold snort. His body was covered in a green shimmering armor that glistened brightly, forming a light screen 3 feet in front of him. Clang! The sound of metal clashing rang out, the light screen shattered, but the golden light could advance no further, immediately turning around and vanishing without a trace. This 6-winged golden silkworm is indeed extraordinary. If it weren't for my green vine armor, such an attack would indeed be dangerous. The tall man narrowed his eyes, touched his chest, and continued to direct his mana to chase the young man in the black robe with the exotic treasure giant sword. The others behind him found it difficult to keep up with the pace of the two, and were gradually left behind. If this continues, it will be hard to shake them off and eventually my mana will run out. This young man in the black robe was none other than Lu Qianzhen, who was out gaining experience. After a brief visit to Azure Phoenix Immortal City in his early years, he came straight to the cultivation world of Jin Kingdom. Although it was more chaotic and ruthless than Jianghu country, he found it relatively adaptable. However, in the previous years the marketplace he was in was suddenly the battleground of two factions, and as collateral damage he fled, killing a feminine young man in the process. Who knew that this young man turned out to be an elder of the Yiming ghost sect, son of a ghost demon Jinren. Since then he was hunted by the ghost demon Jinren, and his escape began. Thankfully, the cultivation world of Jin Kingdom is so vast that even a nascent soul immortal would have difficulty capturing someone who keeps a low profile. Several months ago he was recognized during a fight due to his six-winged golden silkworm, and that once again spurred pursuit. At this moment, Lu Qianzhen saw a continuous forest to the south. Saw the novel F.I.R. at website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. A layer of purple-black mist seemed to loom over the entire forest, like poisonous or miasmic gas, eerily cold and sinister. Lu Qianzhen narrowed his eyes slightly and immediately flew towards the forest. Black mist swamp? The tall man saw the direction in which Lu Qianzhen was escaping and his eyes narrowed. The black mist swamp had a not-so-small reputation in Jin Kingdom, with a poison miasma that lingered throughout the year and was difficult to dispel. This poison not only eroded a cultivator's chi blood and physical body but also had the effect of blocking divine sense. For a regular Foundation establishment cultivator, it was impossible to use divine sense within the Black Mist Swamp. Thus, the Black Mist Swamp was extremely dangerous, and normal Foundation establishment cultivators couldn't survive there for long before the poison would erode and corrupt their chi blood and physical body. Even a nascent soul immortal entering it would be suppressed due to their divine sense being blocked, making it difficult to defend against dangers. Chu Changtan, now you have no path to heaven and no door to earth. Where can you escape to? The tall man trailed at the back, slowing down his pace, not in a hurry to chase. After all, if Lu Qianzhen dared to venture deep into the swamp, he only needed to seal off the area with more people. There's something wrong with this forest ahead. Hearing these words, Lu Qianzhen immediately realized there was a problem with the forest ahead and that he shouldn't enter recklessly. But seeing the people catching up from behind, he looked at the forest swirling with purple-black miasma, gritted his teeth and decided to take a risk. After all, under the current situation, it was impossible for him to shake off his pursuers, and his only option was to seek a slim chance of survival using this forest. Kid, if you have the guts, you can go in. The tall man pushed forward with the exotic treasure giant sword, gradually approaching, and said with a sinister smile. Swoosh. Lu Qianzhen rushed into the black mist forest, and instantly a surge of poison miasma hit his face, as if it wanted to corrode his flesh. His black magical robe flapped, with spiritual light flowing around his body. He ran swiftly trying to find another way out. Ha, you think you can just leave? It's not that simple. The tall man immediately entered the forest, following closely behind Lu Qianzhen like a ghost. Moments later, the dozen or so people who had come with him, hesitating slightly at the sight of the purple-black miasma twirling around the forest, also stormed in, blocking the direction Lu Qianzhen had taken, leaving him with no choice but to move deeper into the forest. After Lu Qianzhen ventured several miles in, he suddenly felt that the poison miasma here was several times more intense. Even with the magical robe's spiritual light protecting his body, threads of poison gas penetrated his pores, entering his body, eroding his flesh and blood. I must say, gentlemen, if you go on chasing me, even if I am eroded by the poison miasma, you won't fare much better, will you? Lu Qianzhen shouted to the people behind him. We can hold on at this level, you can keep on running if you're capable, the tall man said coldly. In this area, the purple-black miasma made his vision hazy, unable to see too far, so he didn't chase too closely to avoid Lu Qianzhen's sneak attack using the six-winged golden silkworm or starting a fight here. After all, once they engaged in battle, the miasma entering the body would be very troublesome. He just joined the others in loosely encircling Lu Qianzhen's position, waiting for an opportunity. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. This, Kunping devouring heaven demonic technique can devour the origin source of living beings and all kinds of spiritual energy from heaven and earth. Perhaps it can also consume the poisonous miasma and poison gas here, Lu Chuanjin mused to himself. Although Uncle had instructed not to practice the latter half of Kunping devouring heaven demonic technique before achieving core formation, he had contemplated this part of the demonic techniques after turning the 5 elements Kunping technique into the Yin-Yang 5 elements Kunping technique. He understood why his uncle did not allow him to cultivate this technique. Because it is a forbidden technique, an outright demonic technique. It refines the essence, qi and spirit of other living beings for one's own use by devouring them. Once one cultivates it, unless one abandons the technique, there is no way to switch to other cultivation techniques. Moreover, during the cultivation process, because it involves devouring the origin source, essence, qi and spirit of others, it is very easy to be affected in one's temperament, leading to deviation or even bodily explosion and death. And breaking through realms with this technique is several times more difficult than with ordinary techniques. Breaking through core formation from foundation establishment may trigger a heart demon tribulation or even a heavenly tribulation. Although I have not cultivated the later part, Yin-Yang 5 elements Kunping technique and Kunping devouring heaven demonic technique are one and the same, through the refinement secret technique within, maybe it can refine this poisonous miasma. After pondering for a moment, Lu Chuanjin decided to give it a try. If it worked, he would not only resolve the current crisis but also gain several more methods. Immediately, Lu Chuanjin glanced in the direction of the tall man and continued to move forward, found a large rock to sit down next to, released the 6-winged golden silkworm to protect him, and then sat cross-legged, operating the Yin-Yang 5 elements Kunping technique. Whoosh! A small fish flowing with the Yin-Yang 5 elements was seen leisurely swimming within his Qi ocean core. Swallowing Heaven Method. Lu Chuanjin activated the secret technique of the Kunping devouring heaven demonic technique, and his muscles slowly showed tadpole-like dark runes, mysterious and terrifying. In this process, his Yin-Yang 5 elements flowing small fish gradually transformed into a blood-red dazzling fish, seemingly ready to soar into the skies at any moment, turning into Kunping and devouring the heavens and earth. It is unclear how long it took, but black runes flowed through Lu Quanzhen's body, his 84,000 pores opening like black holes emitting an intimidating aura. Search * the novel Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Roar. Chapter 1229. This swampy mountain range is extremely dangerous, ordinary cultivators dare not enter. There might just be some fortuitous opportunity, heavenly and earthly treasures. Since I am not afraid of the miasma, I can fully explore here, perhaps I might find some opportunity and find another exit. Lu Chuanjin examined his surroundings. In his heart he had another option. That was, to directly cultivate the Kunping swallows the heavens demonic technique. As long as he cultivated this technique, he could swiftly increase his strength by devouring fierce beasts or the group of people outside, thereby solving the crisis. However, considering his uncle's admonishments, worried about the other side effects after cultivating this technique, he temporarily gave up this idea. Otherwise, in his eyes, this was a very good choice. As for the cultivation technique being contrary to heaven and full of the demon path, Lu Chuanjin felt alright about it, without any particular emotions. He believed in his own heart, confident that he would not lose himself to this power and that he could control it. The heart. Lu Chuanjin let out a low chuckle, looking at the 6-winged golden silkworm next to him emitting a fierce and bloodthirsty aura, his palm lightly raised, placing it into his sleeve. Then he glanced towards the direction of the tall man and others, his eyes narrowing, and strode towards the deeper parts of the swamp. Blue Lake Mountain. Lu Family Mansion. Inside here is a foundation establishment elixir, Divine Sense Foundation Establishment Spiritual Objects. Lu Changxing said as he looked at his children. Son Lu Yunlu and daughter Lu Xingyue had finally finished their marketplace tasks and returned to Blue Lake Mountain. For these two children, Lu Changxing did not take them to attempt to break through at Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Instead, he prepared foundation establishment elixirs, foundation establishment spiritual objects, and elixir medicines that nourished their foundations for them, so they could go back to Qingyun's sect and attempt foundation establishment. This, Lu Yunlu and Lu Xingyue, seeing the elixir medicines and foundation establishment spiritual objects handed out by their father, both appeared dazed. Even though over the years, they had always heard about family matters and knew that their own family had channels for Foundation establishment elixirs. But they had not expected that their father would actually give each of them a Foundation establishment elixir. It has to be known, even the children of great families or disciples of immortal sects won't possibly have a Foundation establishment elixir each. They have to rely on their own efforts to compete for it. Child thanks father. Lu Yunlu took a deep breath, bowing with hands clasped together. He knew that, without the support of the family relying on himself, he could at most exchange for a meridian-protecting elixir and 1 or 2 Foundation establishment spiritual objects before the age of 60, in order to attempt Foundation establishment. With his 6th grade spiritual root, the likelihood of Foundation establishment was very low. If he accepted this gift, then he would have a not small chance of breaking through to become a foundation-building great cultivator. Daughter also thanks father. Lu Xingyue, seeing this, hesitated for a moment, and also accepted the gift. During this return, spend more time with your mother, they all miss you very much. Lu Changxing said with a gentle face. These children often came home in the early years, but as time passed, the frequency of their returns gradually decreased. This journey to receive the sect's mission was even a few years without coming home. Yes, father. The two of them replied respectfully and then left the hall. Looking at the familiar scenery of Blue Lake Mountain before them, both of them still appeared somewhat dazed, as if in a dream. They didn't expect that the Foundation establishment elixir they had longed for so much would be obtained so easily. Yunlu brother, I offer my early congratulations for your hopeful Foundation establishment. Lu Xingyue said to Lu Yunlu. Although the two siblings are not from the same mother, they joined the Qingyun sect together, and their relationship is still very good. She knew that this brother, although of a solitary disposition, had a much stronger conviction in Foundation establishment and seeking the Tao than herself. These years, most of his time was spent earning spirit stones, all in order to exchange for more Foundation establishment spiritual objects when the time came, thereby attempting Foundation establishment. I believe Xingyue you can also break through Foundation establishment. Lu Yunlu took a deep breath and nodded. Without delay, the two of them went to pay respects to their own mother, to visit the younger brothers and sisters at home. Sigh. Lu Changxing watched the backs of these two children as they left, heaving a slight sigh. With the two regularly cultivating in the Qingyun sect, they inevitably become a bit estranged from home. Just like when son Lu Qingshan came home, apart from a few individuals, there isn't much closeness with most of the brothers and sisters. At this moment he couldn't help thinking of his daughter in Jin Kingdom, whom he had never met. She grew up under the care of the Five Poisons cult and Nangong Meili since childhood, and even if she were brought back by him, it might be difficult for her to integrate into the family. But in the end I have to see her. Lu Changxing sighed in his heart, returned to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, and continued to watch Bai Ling, who had transformed into a white golden cocoon, wondering how long it would take her to break out of it. I also wonder how Zishao and Pinggan are doing. At this time Lu Changxing thought about the family's commercial affairs. Counting the time, it had been over 3 months since Lu Pinggan and the others had set out. Merely auctioning a Foundation establishment elixir in Red Leaf Valley Market had caused such a big stir. The establishment of a commercial guild would surely make some powers restless, secretly taking action to obstruct. Unless a core formation old ancestor takes action, I think there shouldn't be big problems. Lu Changxing shook his head lightly, feeling somewhat missing his daughter Lu Lingyi. At this very moment, Ling Zixia was inspecting the situation in a marketplace with her son Lu Lingxiao, Lu Lingyi, and Lu Rui, preparing to buy some shops. After being busy for a while, they went to a restaurant to eat. I heard that some time ago, a Foundation establishment elixir was auctioned off in Red Leaf Valley Market, attracting 5 robber cultivators to make a move. These 5 robber cultivators weren't after the Foundation establishment elixir, they were targeting Blue Lake Mountain Lu family. I happened to be in Red Leaf Valley Market at that time. TSK, Blue Lake Mountain is really something. Back then, just after Lu Changxing's Foundation establishment, he alone killed 3 Foundation establishment cultivators and established Blue Lake Mountain Lu family. Now, one of his daughters even killed 5 Foundation establishment cultivators. It's all because of the talismans. If I had a good dad who could randomly burn a few hundred talismans, I would also have this kind of combat power. If I were the son of a nascent soul true lord, wouldn't I be even more successful? To tell the truth, I suspect that Blue Lake Mountain now probably has 10 Foundation establishment great cultivators. Regardless of whether it's true or not, Blue Lake Mountain Lu family is now considered the first cultivation family among the 6 big false core families. In the main hall, many cultivators were chatting and boasting while dining. Many of them were discussing the affairs of Blue Lake Mountain and Red Leaf Valley Market. After all, this incident is considered a rare big news in Qingyun region and naturally spread widely. Talisman Fairy Lu Wangshu killed 5 Foundation establishment cultivators by herself? Lu Lingxiao was stunned when he heard this, his expression one of shocked disbelief. He was even planning to return home to challenge this sister after the business trip. To his surprise, he heard news about this sister here. Killing 5 robber cultivators by oneself? Wasn't that astonishing? Even though he was confident in his invincibility among his peers and vastly stronger than ordinary Foundation establishment cultivators, he was still shocked by this news. Wow, sister is so incredible. Lu Lingyi next to him heard this and her little mouth was slightly agape, her face full of excited surprise. She then looked towards her brother Lu Lingxiao and said, "Brother, are you still planning to challenge sister when you get back? Maybe just forget about it." Wang Shu killed 5 robber cultivators? Lu Rui was also somewhat dumbfounded. In her opinion, being invincible among her peers was already quite impressive. As for fighting 1 against 5 and killing them all, even she, as a Foundation establishment cultivator, found it hard to imagine such a scene at the moment. "Shower, what's wrong, were you hit hard?" Ling Zixiao, dressed in a lake blue palace dress with her hair neatly arranged, looked dignified and elegant, and said to her son with a gentle smile. Perhaps having witnessed Lu Changsheng's prowess, she wasn't too surprised by such a record. However, seeing her son like this as a mother, she naturally needed to offer some comfort. "No, I'm just a little surprised." Lu Lingxiao shook his head slightly. His face angular and well-defined, with features somewhat resembling his mother Ling Zixiao. Especially his eyes, even though his gold pupils were hidden, were still bright and full of expression, piercing like torches. Sir, the novel Fire. Any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Ling Zixiao knew her son had always been tough and said with a light laugh, "Wangshu as a talisman cultivator, if equipped with enough talismans and forming a talisman formation with them, indeed, she would have no equal among her peers, and could easily overcome higher levels. But a talisman formation is not invincible either." In her early years, because of the dragon roar physique, which prevented her from cultivating, she spent a lot of time on talisman formations and understood them deeply. She knew that talisman formations were not truly invincible. Like most formations, they had weak points. If during a duel one could find these weak points and break the talisman formation, then by using close combat and other tactics, one could prevent the talisman cultivator from executing further moves. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1231. Xiang sized up Lu Pingan before him and said aloud, "Originally, the Xia family did not wish to interfere with the affairs of the Lu Family Commerce Association. But upon hearing about the incident at Red Leaf Valley Market, they realized that Bai Lake Mountain was not to be underestimated. Therefore they came to test the strength of Bai Lake Mountain. If besides the couple comparable to false core immortals, Lu Changxing and Lu Wangshu comparable to the peak of Foundation establishment, there were other top-tier combatants, then Bai Lake Mountain possessed the strength of a false core level force. In such a case, since their Lingxi Lake was far from Bai Lake Mountain, there was no need to create enmities, but rather they could cooperate deeply. I wonder how Daoist Xia wishes to be enlightened?" Lu Pingan, with his tall and majestic stature, took a step forward and replied. The direct approach of the other party showed their intentions, which he did not resist. After all, open attacks are easy to dodge, but hidden ones hard to guard against. Compared to openly honest combat, it's much better than those who strike from the shadows. I heard that this trade convoy is led by Daoist Lu and the noble lady of the Lu family, right? "No need for others, as long as you all can overcome 3 of us, that is sufficient," said Xiang aloud. He had already thoroughly investigated the strength of Lu Pingan. At the initial stage of Foundation establishment, but due to his second-order body refining, his combat power was among the top of the mid-stage of Foundation establishment. With the aid of a spiritual artifact, he could even be comparable to some in the late Foundation establishment. As for the strength of Ling Zixiao, he was not sure, but with the incident at the Red Leaf Valley Market, the Xia family believed that Lu Changxing dared to send 2 people to lead this first trade trip, suspecting that they were not as simple as they appeared. My aunt dislikes fighting, so it will be I. Lu Pingan spoke out, intending to express his willingness to fight 3 against 1. However, Lu Rui immediately interjects, "Big brother. Let my brother and I experience Daoist Xia's expertise." Sar the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Pingan, knowing his sister was also here for experience, quickly changed his words. Of course. Xiering glanced at Lu Rui, smiled and nodded. He had just noticed Lu Rui. He did not remember any Foundation establishment cultivator like her mentioned in the information about by Lake Mountain. 3 Foundation establishment cultivators, no wonder they are so confident. One of his companions, wielding a small drum, created successive water thunderbolts with each strike, which headed toward the pair. During flight, these water thunderbolts slowly merged with the vapor flood dragon, enhancing its might incrementally. The 2 were cultivating similar techniques, therefore their combined attack was more powerful than ordinary. The last person drove a blue flying sword towards them. Rui, take the rear and handle the formation. Lu Pingan faced such an offensive, his robust figure stepping forward, boom! His formidable demon beast-like powerful aura enveloped the area, making the air itself seem heavier. His black dragon halberd instantly unleashed a dazzling light and swung forward. Although externally he was a middle-stage second-order body refiner for this trade mission, clearly he could no longer afford to hide his true abilities. Father had also instructed that there was no need to be overly modest. Therefore, Lu Pingan's strike utilized the 7th layer of body refinement. As for the 8th layer, the quasi-third-tier body refining, which was too shockingly extraordinary, he still knew restraint. Boom! The slash of the black dragon halberd seemed to split heaven and earth, directly cleaving the vapor-steamed flood dragon in 2. Immediately after, the great halberd, wrapped in a force of wind and thunder, horizontally slashed, crushing the approaching water thunderbolts and flying sword. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1232. Such physical prowess? Xie Ying's eyelids twitched violently at the sight of the explosive physical strength that Lu Pingan displayed. He immediately gestured an incantation, causing the shattered vapors to steam up and gather like a silver dragon waterfall, aiming to entangle Lu Pingan's black dragon halberd. Buzz! Lu Pingan tightly grasped the black dragon halberd and abruptly twisted it, making the great halberd tremble wildly, sounding like metal clashing, scattering the silver dragon. Subsequently, the chi blood in his body burst forth like a breached river, an angry dragon emerging from the abyss, casting a faint golden treasure light under the silver armor over his strong muscles. Thump thump thump! Wind and thunder raged around Lu Pingan, with upsurging chi blood above his head like beacon smoke reaching for the clouds, charging towards Xie Ying and the other 2 like a horde of thousands of horses and soldiers. This. Lu Rui, witnessing this scene and wielding her flying sword, appeared somewhat dazed. Where am I and what am I supposed to do? Big Brother has broken through the attacks of 3 people by himself, how can I plunder their formation? It would be more like Big Brother plundering for me. But Big Brother is also too impressive. Wow, Big Brother is so awesome. Lu Lingyi clapped excitedly as she watched Lu Pingan in action. It's just a bit strange, why doesn't Big Brother use his fists and simply punch directly through them? Is this the power of the 8th level 100 refinements treasure body art? I wonder if Sister Wangxia's talismans can break through Big Brother's physical body? Lu Lingxiao stared at the majestic silhouette of his Big Brother, his pupils reflecting a hint of gold as he pondered. Big Brother is so powerful. Hiss, this must be second-tier top-level body refinement, right? Uncle Pingan's strength. The other disciples from Blue Lake Mountain Lu family and Qingzhou Mountain Lu family were also shocked by the scene, followed by surges of excited delight in their hearts. Knowing that Lu Pingan was there to support them, the business trip was essentially secure. Blue Lake Mountain Lu family, quite a formidable Blue Lake Mountain Lu family, no wonder they dared to establish a merchant association at this time. Xie Ying's expression changed slightly as he saw the overwhelming momentum of Lu Pingan, filled with serious solemnity. He gestured an incantation and his life-bound spiritual artifact Han Tan Pearl flew out, radiating with frosty rosy light. This cold energy combined with the vapors from his hand incantation to spiral and form ice-cold flood dragons charging towards Lu Pingan. Boom boom boom, Lu Pingan's expression remained calm as he swung the black dragon halberd. Ling Zixiao still remembered that when Lu Pingan was young, he did not manifest the spiritual root, and when he first returned to Jianghu Mountain, Lu Changxing even asked her to instruct him in cultivating the purple true solar scripture. Unknowingly, the other had grown to such an extent, which was quite astonishing. "Mother, your child understands." Lu Lingxiao nodded seriously. He was aware that while he possessed a strong physical body from his body refinement practice, he lacked the means to utilize his strength properly. When it came to cultivation issues, Lu Pingan never held back advice, voicing guidance to his brothers and sisters. In addition to guiding Lu Rui and Lu Lingxiao, Lu Pingan also often cared for other brothers and sisters from Jianghu Mountain, as well as Lu family disciples without a spiritual root. Once the trade caravan arrives at its current destination, it stops outside the entrance of the other party's mountain gate to conduct trade. Besides selling goods, the caravan also inquires if there's anything the other party wishes to sell, engaging in purchases. It's quite easy to pick up bargains during this process. Picking up a bargain doesn't mean one must find something exceedingly precious. Even things worth a few dozen or 100 spirit stones that are treated like junk and bought for just a few spirit stones count as a bargain. Originally, the Commerce Association would also make spirit stones by offering rides along the way. But this time the Lu family caravan is mainly aiming to establish reputation and open up trade routes, not purely for profit, hence they didn't take any passengers. On the journey, besides demon beasts, they occasionally face bandits and mountain hijackers occupying the hills. In such cases, usually a bribe of some spirit stones as a toll is enough. If there is a foundation establishment cultivator presiding, merely leaking out the foundation establishment spiritual pressure can resolve the situation. As for killing, that's not usually done. Doing business is all about making money amicably. Moreover, many of these bandits are actions of the small family forces nearby. If every one of these bandits were to be killed, it would be an endless task and only bring trouble to one's own family. Sir the Nefire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. 7 days later. The trade caravan encountered another attack. This time there were 3 foundation establishment cultivators, 1 at the late stage of foundation establishment, and 2 at the initial stages. Unlike the previous encounter with the Xianxia family, these enemies didn't bother with idle talk and struck to kill immediately. If not for Lu Pingan's vigilance, even Lu family disciples might have been in trouble. Faced with this situation, Lu Pingan didn't bother with pleasantries, directly confronting the attack.